Hey there, my name's Christopher Timulevich. I'm the creator of Hero Shack, and I'd like to welcome you to my first Kickstarter. To be able to say that you were one of the first. So there you have it, our first ever Kickstarter. Are you ready to jump on board? Hey there, my name's Christopher Timulevich. I'm the creator of Hero Shack, and I'd like to welcome you to my first Kickstarter. to be able to say that you were one of the first? So there you have it, our first ever Kickstarter. Are you ready to jump on board? Hey there, my name's Christopher Timulevich. I'm the creator of Hero Shack, and I'd like to welcome you to my first Kickstarter. Would you be able to say that you were one of the first? So there you have it, our first ever Kickstarter. Are you ready to jump on board? my name's Christopher Timulevich. I'm the creator of Hero Shack, and I'd like to welcome you to my first Kickstarter. You'd be able to say that you were one of the first? So there you have it, our first ever Kickstarter. Are you ready to jump on board? Hey there, my name's Christopher Timulevich. I'm the creator of Hero Shack, and I'd like to welcome you to my first Kickstarter. You'd be able to say that you were one of the first. So there you have it, our first ever Kickstarter. Are you ready to jump on board? Hey there, my name's Christopher Timulevich. I'm the creator of Hero Shack, and I'd like to welcome you to my first Kickstarter. to be able to say that you were one of the first? So there you have it, our first ever Kickstarter. Are you ready to jump on board?
Why do you have all this stuff?
Giveaways.
Okay.
Come on now, join me. I got it all set up for us tonight. You always say I never help. I help tonight.
Mm-hmm. Are we on mic yet?
We are on mic.
Yeah.
And hello, welcome to Hero Shack Chronicles. I am your host, Chris T, along with my wife, Diana. We are here once again to talk about our latest venture, Last of the Reapers.
Yes, absolutely.
You're going to have to squeeze in, honey, because I've set the studio up so that...
Yeah, I know, but it's so high.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I'm like a little munchkin over here. Okay. Hi.
Hey.
Right,
I'll have to lower myself.
no,
Oh,
all right.
there we go.
Yes, over here. I have it. I'll do it like I normally do.
So I tried to set up for her.
And you did a good job, but I have to tweak it a little bit. There. Perfect.
Nigel, what's up, brother?
Okay.
How you doing? So tonight, I have to get rid of the starting at 8 because we've just started. There we go. Oh, that was loud.
I'm so sorry.
Did you kill anything?
No, you just my setup.
All right. So we've changed the lighting a little bit. What do you think?
It's weird.
It's a little darker,
It's all right.
a little more red.
It's all right. I like it.
Do you?
Not really, but
Why are you way off like that?
because your computer is
So-
that way.
No, it's because you won't get closer to me.
Well,
There we
hi.
go. We can work with this. All right.
Okay,
How's
I'm good
that?
now. Hi, everybody. Finally here.
You're touching me.
Okay.
No.
So sorry.
So what do you think? Look, so we're launching our second Kickstarter, which is Last of the Reapers. It's coming out October 2020. We are actively watching my wife. What's up, honey?
I'm setting up. You're talking. I'm
yeah, but
listening.
you're going live on your Facebook.
Well, so I can see the chat.
Doesn't the chat move whether that?
No.
Really?
Yes, I have to be live.
Well, that's malarkey.
Well, it is. But...
Doing good. How you doing? Okay, let's see. Lighting looks good. Well, thank you. Usually I drown us out. I have a series of lights, but because this is a Halloween book, I wanted to darken it up a little. Notice my hair is down. Dun, dun, dun. And this is only September. Wait till October comes and I start face painting.
I didn't know anything about this.
That's right. As we start building towards our goal, we are going to be getting crazy. I'm going to have some fun. I haven't embraced Halloween in many, many years. Last year, I kind of embraced it. I dressed up and everything, but my heart wasn't really in it. This year, I'm making a comic that features Halloween. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm excited.
Me too.
So I guess for starters, I'd like to let's just look at the Kickstarter page. What do you think, honey?
I think it looks pretty cool.
All right.
I've seen it before.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you've seen it. So this is the Kickstarter page right here.
Uh-huh.
And I've been running the video for the last hour. If you checked into our show, I like to do that. I like to run the videos an hour before we actually come live. As you can see, we've had 6 early backers. Thank you so much, everyone, for $96.
Woohoo!
We're on our way. Now,
Thank you.
we have set a goal of $667.
Yes, we have.
We're going to go $1 above the mark of the beast. We're going,
I love it.
because it's Halloween, we're going to beat the beastly number. What do you think?
I think that's great.
I think we can do it. And really, I'm excited because we haven't done much of anything yet, and we're already at $96. Again, thank you. Some of those guys are repeat backers.
That's
and
awesome.
I can't say how much I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, we're going to deliver some fantastic packages. So, yeah, we just wanted to take a peek at that. If anybody wants to come in, you're more than welcome. Streamline is open. I believe the link is in the description for the Facebook page.
It is.
And if it's not there, I've certainly sent it to Diana for pasting in her messages, because I did that first. I set her all up.
Yeah.
Very excited about that.
Yes, I am very. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was very sweet of you. He got the laptop out. He got my little desk area out.
Because we don't have a great production house, so we have to do it all on our own.
That's okay.
Halloween and the beastly number. That's a good theme. Halloween really is the best holiday, almost as exciting as Labor Day.
Oh, Nigel, you are funny.
Have you met Nigel?
I have not.
Yeah, Nigel's a kick.
Okay.
He's cool.
That's awesome.
So where should we go with this? Let's talk about the packages a little, I guess.
Okay. That sounds
Because
like a
the
good plan.
first package is just a $5 PDF. And I say just a $5 PDF, but that means that someone can follow along, support the campaign at an affordable rate, and still know what we're talking about as we go through.
Right.
The next tier is the comic book alone, which is going to be well over 60 pages. I haven't written that in the Kickstarter yet because I want to make absolutely sure how many pages it will be. So the people who have backed are doing it on good faith that I'm going to deliver a good comic. But we've already got 37 pages set up and ready to go. That gives me a month to do another 23 pages or so. And you know my pace. I have a rather rapid pace. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, but I think I'm getting it together. I really feel like I'm hitting my stride now. So I have no worries about reaching the goal.
Well, you do work. It is like a 40-hour-a-week job for you. So, I mean.
Well, if I'm not working my day
honestly.
job, I'm making this comic. My poor wife has enjoyed it so much because she's been able to, do little weekend vacations with her girlfriends.
Well, I enjoy it because you're passionate about it.
Right,
It's
but
not
I mean,
because
it
I
does
get
get
to
me
go
out
on.
of your hair, right?
Yes, but it's not.
Because let's
That
face it,
sounds really bad. Like, keep working
Yeah.
because I get to go on vacation.
it sounds bad, but believe it or not, that's the beauty of being happily married because we trust each other and we can do stuff like that.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
It is a lot of fun.
And she lets me create. So I've been just drawing the Reaper now for the last, I don't even know how long, the last 3 weeks straight. I went through a bit of dark depression for a little bit with it because it is kind of a bizarre topic. I have an itch.
Excuse us while he just itches his back.
It is. I'm just there.
Don't mind us. It is just a live stream. Oh my God, Chris, you're killing me.
Oh, that
Sorry,
feels
guys.
so nice.
I'm glad that you are
that's
enjoying
sweet.
that.
You bought me this for Christmas. It was a stocking stuffer.
It is a stocking stuffer. You are absolutely right. But I'm just kind of laughing at you. I'm sorry.
The power of the claw. You know what? People don't get to see that live.
This is true. It's probably a good thing, guys.
No, this is the variety of Hero Shack Chronicles.
This is true. It is the variety, that's for sure.
So you're looking up the Kickstarter.
I was looking up at the Kickstarter. I wanted to post it in Facebook.
I've done that already. That is in the Facebook description for sure because I put that in the description of the video tonight.
Okay.
Our goal is to gain some backers. So what was your thought? You wanted to give stuff away. Look down there. What do we have? I think the best thing we have is the omnibus from last year. Oh, sweet. Yeah, you can't read any of those out loud,
No, I know. I was just like, wow, that's pretty good.
Was that a 25er?
Yep.
Wow. So we can't dox our backers, but thank you one and all. We
are super excited.
We are seeing who you are, and we're floored. Diana likes to look at that. She likes to keep track of what's going on.
Yep.
And that's sweet. So yeah, now I really have to be up to snuff because there's a real artist on board.
There's lots of real artists on board.
Yes, but I mean someone who's kick-ass. Excuse my French, but someone who's really blowing my mind. Hello, Gary Henderson. How are you, brother? On the 15th, I think it is. We're doing a show with him.
Hi,
finally.
Gary. I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
So Gary, I remember there was a Pyramid Nights promotional video with Judas Priest. If I could find that, I would like to run that next week when I do the hour-long video segment. I've got 3 videos right now, 2 for Hero Shack and 2 for Last of the Reapers. And
here we go. That's what it was. I wanted to actually see what our page looked like.
Well, it would be nice if you had watched because we showed everybody.
When? Earlier when I was doing my homework.
No, we were live right here. I went like this. Look, let me share the screen. Then I went Chrome tab. Then I went like this. Then I went like this, and then that came up.
Yeah, but you didn't start it. You didn't play the video.
I've been playing the video all night.
I know, but I like to have it right in front of me.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm sorry.
would you
guys.
like to see the video one more time?
Sure.
If you hadn't been watching for the last hour before we came on,
wasn't.
you would have missed it. So
I was doing homework.
Diana was at school doing homework because she's cute like that. And now I have to refine the video. So hang on 1 second.
Uh-huh.
Well, you distracted me with your beauty.
Oh, God.
Why do you get shy, honey?
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm yawning away.
Yeah, why are you
I'm
yawning?
tired. I've worked really hard today. I labored today for Labor Day. I took my pool down.
You know what?
I closed my pool.
That is sad.
That's
All
so
right.
scary.
So I threw this together based on what I had done at the moment. The book is always expanding. The artwork is constantly growing.
Yeah.
I replace panels all the time because I get sick of looking at them and I think I can do them more dynamically. And then I do. But Diana is nodding no, but trust me, the final result is going to be beautiful.
It's going to be amazing. Yes, that is correct.
So I will show everyone the video that I put to promote on Kickstarter. And let me just click share sound or else you won't hear anything.
Yep.
And we'll switch over. Okay, here we go. Ready?
All right. So this is the video we have on our Kickstarter page,
Right,
correct?
let me play it.
I mean, I know it is because I've seen it. I love the music. Just saying. I think it's so cool. That's really good. The letter.
So you must realize when we go to the movies, this is what I deal with.
Sorry.
Wasn't she in that one movie? Oh, I know that guy. He does the commercials for that insurance company. Mr. Allstate. 40% off. So what we were just looking at here is the Reapers, obviously. But there's a whole mythology that comes to life in this book concerning guardian angels and Reapers. You know they can hear us.
You told me not to talk.
That's not what I said.
I talk too much.
I didn't say that either.
I love the video. I love the colors.
Wait, here it comes. Here it comes. This is my favorite part. The survivors.
You're such an 80 guy.
These are the survivors. The stubborn ones who refuse to die. And of course, the Reaper wants them to die. Because until they die, he is stuck here. Look at that. Look at that. In that scene, he's giving that woman a piece of his mind.
I know.
Ooh, a little graphic there. Did you see it? Was that too graphic?
No.
It's very bloody.
Yeah, but it's
It's okay that it's bloody.
it's people are not. 2020 has a few surprises left. That's so funny.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. The web app. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The last of the Reapers. Available this October
Why?
2020.
Don't do that.
What if I make my nasal nose?
Stop. People are not going to come to your stream when you act like that.
Oh, well, people aren't coming anyways. Let's see. I'm only teasing. I know there are plenty of people here, but my system doesn't show them. Like it says there's new comments. I can't see any new comments. Can you?
Do you have your glasses on? Where are your glasses?
Oh, don't blame the glasses. It just says new
you
comments.
can't see.
I can too. For instance, can you read that top line?
StreamYard.
No, on the very top.
Chrome file, edit, view, history, bookmarks.
The one that says Last of the Reapers.
Where are you pointing?
At our screen right there.
You said
Look.
you. I'm reading here.
I know, you're like, it's like you're reading the ingredients instead of the title of the product.
A Last of the Reapers. Yes, I can do
The
that.
Last
So
of the Reapers.
we are very excited. This is a total different genre for you. You usually focus more on the superhero.
I'm always superhero, but
this is, I'm kind of excited because I think you have a very dark side to you, like a very deep, mysterious side. That
no,
most
this
people don't
honestly,
know.
this was inspired by
Mhm.
Preston Poulter's writing group, where I challenged myself to think of something beyond superhero.
Superheroes?
And when I got into it, if you knew my life, you knew my world, death has played a great part. I have seen many die. Not to sound melodramatic or anything, but I've had these fantasies of how death must be. And some of them have played out in this story.
Mhm.
I in no way claim this as a prophetic message or a factual, actual book.
It's a fun.
It is a bunch of fun based. It's a fun based situation that gets mighty serious. Okay, so if I can say it that way, there is humor in the book, but it's not like Guardians of the Galaxy humor.
I find it a
And-
story that makes you kind of think.
Well, yeah, once you get beyond the little quip and humor here and there, and you realize what's happening, and the
Right.
characters start developing in front of
Mhm.
you. That's one of the things that this book has done. It's actually written itself. Once I got the ball rolling, it
The
snowballed.
snowballs.
Once I got the snowball going, it really
Sorry.
started taking a life of its own. For instance, the girl in purple,
Right.
Mindy, has
Yeah.
become a real PIA, a real PETA, a real pain in the Tuski,
Yeah.
a pain in the butt. Not a nice lady, but it's necessary for the story.
Right.
The daughter, the 14-year-old young lady named Lois, she is slightly rebellious, but still naive enough to follow
Mhm.
Dad around. Dad is leading the group. And then there's the black guy, Jerron, who is a star quarterback from his local high school in his senior year,
Yeah.
surviving through apocalypse. And he's a great kid, and you'll see that develop in his character, the way he responds to things.
Mhm.
She's a good kid. Mindy's a PETA, like I said. And Chuck is overtaxed and trying to
Mhm.
do too much. And as a result, there are different things that he might do that wouldn't really surprise you because there's nothing new under the
Right.
sun, but there are only so many ways a father can handle this situation.
This is true.
Meanwhile, you have the Reaper, who has been here since the days of Christ,
Mhm.
because he cannot return because Jesus rose again. He's not dead. So the Reaper never got to do
He's
his
stuck in
job.
this earthly
Right.
realm, more or less.
More or less.
More or less. And he's not very happy about it because
And yet he's very polite, and he's
But
played
it's-
this role of kind of like a guardian angels. Now, the guardian angels turn into Reapers. They age throughout their life with their assigned human.
right?
And basically, you get your guardian angel. Your guardian angel is your Grim Reaper at the end. It's kind of the way it works.
Right.
Unfortunately, he's waiting on the final people to perish.
Mhm.
And in the act of waiting,
Mhm.
he might be doing some crooked stuff trying to
Yeah,
push the agenda
so-
along.
The Grim Reaper, the big honcho dude, is not very
Giannis
nice.
is his
Giannis.
name.
Giannis, yes, Giannis. Oh my God.
So it's now 8:20.
Yes, it is.
We have about 5 viewers. That's probably going to be our max tonight. So listen up. If you're a backer or you plan to back, if you do so before 9 o'clock and send us a screenshot that says something about backing us, what will we include in their package, my love?
Well, you pulled out a bunch of stuff.
All right. So why don't we offer up the big one? Let's see if this even works.
Okay.
So we will offer up, signed if you want it,
So do they
the
have
Hero Shack
omnibus?
I don't even call it an omnibus anymore because I found out technically it's not an omnibus. The complete 2019 collection, every book we published in one volume, one master volume, and it's full color. And let me tell you, I love it. This is like the greatest comic ever made. No, but seriously,
it's actually a very cool book.
Yes,
it gives you
cool.
the whole year of 2019, the whole collection. It's beautifully done.
So
but I'm very biased, of course. If you're looking for an incentive to hop on to the Kickstarter platform and help us out, so are we looking for at least a $10 pledge?
No, we're looking for a book or better.
A book or better.
Right.
Okay.
So that would be a $15
PDF,
pledge or
right?
higher.
Right.
Yeah.
50,
Well, the reason that I want to do it with a pledge for a book or better is because we can put it in that package.
Right.
If you order a book, we don't charge for shipping, but we will ship it to you, of course. We can't exactly send it to you, like we're not going to pull up and, hey, Charlie, I got your book. No, we're going to mail it. We're going to mail it in a Gemini box, which is the premier mailer.
Yes.
And we put them in very specialized
So
plastic.
we have until 9 o'clock
or until we go off the air, but 9 o'clock.
Yeah. And you need to send us a screenshot of your Kickstarter purchase. And with that,
without your name though, like just take the picture that says you did.
Yeah. Because we can see it in the Kickstarter report.
But here's the idea: if this works, we'll give out something else too.
Yeah.
I have a pile of stuff. Although I must tell you, this is the best one in the whole bunch, in my opinion.
I think so.
I absolutely love this book.
Mm-hmm.
It just marks my time. You know what I'm saying? That was the first year that I started really getting serious about comics. Now, Last of the Reapers is interesting because I'm in the middle of the Hero Shack series and I'm literally taking time off to do it. Yeah. We're getting responses for Hero Shack and Search a Hero.
Yes, we are.
And Cyclopean is becoming more popular. So for Christmas here, we may do something very special with him again.
Because that next issue is going to be for Christmas. Somebody
Yo, it's our brother Skinny.
Hi, Skinny.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Man, you're looking good.
Yeah.
We are oh, look at how sweet. What a cute little kitty.
Hey, that's what's missing tonight. No Tiny. I'm surprised.
Okay. She's sleeping. I took her for a walk. She's exhausted.
All right.
I know. I love seeing everybody's pets.
So you know who he is? You know what he does?
Yep.
What's Otis Stein?
Otis Stein is his character, right?
Yeah, his book.
His book?
Yeah.
I hate when he does that. I hate when he puts me on the spot because it's like a test and I freeze. I'm like,
my wife hates it too.
It's like, don't do that to me. Yes, you know that I know who this is.
Yes. Well, Otis Stein is all over Lois.
I'm not. I don't follow.
Her T-shirt in the comic has his logo on it.
Oh yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah, that really took me by surprise, man.
What's that?
I said that really took me by surprise when you did that. I was like, "Oh crap, this is awesome!"
Yeah.
You have actually inspired me to do it with other people too. So peppered in every background because they're in the city and it's all destroyed. I have all sorts of Easter eggs in there now, not just the White Lily stuff and whatever. Lorenzo, good evening, brother.
Hey, could you please put the link in the chat? I mean, I guess you don't have to. I guess it's in the about section, but I think it might help. It's up to you. It's your show.
You think?
Also, what's the difference?
Do you mean this link? Wait a minute. Do you mean the
StreamYard
StreamYard link or the Kickstarter link?
I mean,
the StreamYard.
Well, I was actually talking about Kickstarter. I think the StreamYard's already in there, or is it?
Kickstarter link, yeah.
It's been in there. We keep posting it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to grab the link again.
So you guys just popped in, and we are doing a quick little incentive to get some backers. And Chris has opted to.
Well, you know, Skinny's already got it, right?
Yeah. Well, if they already got it, they're not going to. Honey, stop.
Terry, my man.
I'm just explaining to you guys what we were just talking about. Just popped in. Hey, Terry. So yeah. So this, if anybody who's watching this is not targeted at you three. I was explaining to you guys what he was just doing. Okay? That we are giving this book to whoever backs the Kickstarter for a book or up. So like the book is what, 15 on the Kickstarter?
Right.
So for
I had a
$15,
question about that.
we are going to put this in as an incentive if you do it before the end of the stream.
Well, what's the difference between the art book and the art digest? Sorry to interrupt.
That's
So
all
the
right.
art book is going to be all the art that I've been doing during this Last of the Reapers, which includes rejected pages, concept art, a couple of silly sketches. But basically, it's a black and white. I want to call it an ash can, but it's not because it's going to be 8.5, 11. I'm making it as big as I can cheaply afford to make it. But I want it to be like, I hate the word because I've done this once before and I didn't like the results, but I want it to be like an adult coloring book, but you don't have to color it. You know what I'm saying?
So
it's kind of like this one.
is that the same thing as the art digest, or is that something different? Because I can tell.
It's
Because
a
in
real,
one part it mentions an art book, another it says an art digest.
Oh, that's just me being creative. I'll have to go back and edit that.
I didn't
Someone
Oh, okay,
has-
so it's the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I'll back
someone hasn't been.
I'll take that. I did not proof it, and he already. Guys, he wasn't supposed to put the Kickstarter up until I looked at
I was
it.
telling him I only meant to set it up, and get it ready.
So I haven't
I was
looked
telling
at
Skinny
it.
this, and it was the night that you guys were announcing Otis, and it went live, and I'm like, oh snap! So quietly, I kind of let it sit there. I put a link up so people would know, but I was like, yeah, we can't even. I don't even want to stream yet. And then, man, congratulations on Otis, man.
That's awesome.
Isn't that like already double what you asked for?
Yeah, because we only had a $500 goal, so we're sitting at I think 1317 now. So
And I haven't even picked it up yet. I have to go over there and create my Indiegogo account. You're going to make me go IGG. I haven't joined it for anybody else, brother, but we're joining for you so I can back the book.
I appreciate it, man.
We will do it. I will make sure. He gets caught up on stuff and
No, but it's
gets
funny
crazy
because
stuff.
other books I've gone, yeah, no, I like your book, but it's on IGG. I don't do IGG. Yeah, we're going to do it for you.
Not saying you have to, but if you want to wait, we will be launching on Kickstarter here in about a week or so.
Ooh.
So that's right. You have IGN. Is that what it's called?
It's called IGG.
IGG.
Indiegogo.
Oh, why not? I've heard of it. I'm sorry, the abbreviation I didn't quite catch.
Yes.
Indiegogo.
Yes.
Why? So you're doing both Kickstarter and Indiegogo? You find that to be a good thing?
Well, I mean, the way I see it is, why leave money on the table? Because there's plenty of guys like Chris here who, he's got a hate boner for Indiegogo.
I know. I
don't even know why.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either. It's like we started with Kickstarter, and now I'm kind of like, it's almost like Mac and Windows. I'm like, ooh, am I betraying my brand if I go?
Yeah, well, I'm not knocking anybody. People have preferences, so I'm just kind of embracing.
I don't even know why it's a preference. Like, is it a CG overhauled or is it?
Listen, I think it was you were talking to some Twitter people way back when he was caught up in all this drama, and somebody probably said, yes, you, something along the lines like Indiegogo, they're not as reliable. Or
oh wait, I
this,
remember why.
that.
No, I remember why. It's 3 initials. I don't even have to say them, do I? I just decided to avoid the market for. It starts with an E and ends with an S.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about Aunt Edna. Okay.
Yes. No drama here, honey.
no drama.
She shouts it right out. She knows. Oh.
Well, that's what happened. That was way back when he was like, all of a sudden, I'm like, what are you doing? I'm tweeting. You're doing what?
She's actually signing up for Indiegogo right now as we speak. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty much doing that.
But yeah, it's amazing because there was another campaign I would say that's within our realm of where people fall in the comic book realms or whatever. What's his name? Lazmat. He just had a successful campaign too.
Oh yeah, I backed that. I backed Road Warrior Drake. I backed the
Yeah,
comic
Road
and
Warrior.
the manga.
That's the name.
Yeah, manga should be interesting too.
I think it's pretty incredible though. Like we're seeing indie comics be able to make these little projects work, and there's a lot of them. It's starting to pick up. It's like we're getting into that exciting sphere where we can really be creative, and the world is actually willing to take a peek at it, even if it's just a small, tiny piece of the world. People are starting to look again, and that's nice.
No, it is. So I signed up. I have an account. We'll probably put it up there.
We have an Indiegogo account.
Oh
so
no!
No idea. Who said, oh no? Oh no.
Oh
yes. Yes, we have to. We gotta. I was actually looking at what is it? Amazon. Oh my god.
We're looking at Cosmicology.
Cosmicology today. You guys know anything about that?
Comicology, yeah.
He
or
says
Webtoons.
cosmic.
I always say cosmic.
Comixology.
Yes.
Comics with an X. It's like another Webtoons platform where you can submit stuff.
Well, it's Amazon owned, so that's the thing about it.
Yeah.
And then there's Webtoons, and then there's like a million others underneath that.
Oh yeah,
and I'm looking.
There's all sorts of choices.
Well, I don't think that ignoring Webtoons or ignoring the online platform is necessarily smart.
I thought it was kind of silly that CG seemed like Indiegogo was okay and Walmart was okay, and it's like, why? Because like a certain person with 3 initials told them so. Apparently so. I mean, it's like, I wonder if he might have like some sort. I don't know. It's kind of suspicious that one only has to go through certain, those 2 platforms or whatever.
Well, there's another one too, that indie comic one. I haven't.
Yeah, there's all sorts of choices.
They're supposed to be like more comic friendly, I guess. It's been put together by indie.
Here's the thing. Because since I'm the one that he tells everybody I'm his business manager, guys, right? I don't know much about business. I can balance a checkbook, right? I can do like stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm not like a marketing person. I'm not like, I don't have the background. And I'm trying to help him out the best I can. And I'm trying to learn like on the fly. And it's very difficult. So I said to him, by next year, I will have Hero Shack Press up and running. I'm already putting money away for that to actually start my own little company, Hero Shack Press, which will incorporate not only the stuff that he's doing, but other up and coming artists who want to kind of go through us. Right? Well, so that's my plan.
The thing about it is we have a very segmented way of doing it.
He has a very set way. But he's got a very different way of doing everything.
Right. But I mean, if other artists or writers or creators, actually it's other creators, because it's weird when you do the whole thing. And how can I put this? It's like, I don't look at it like you guys do in the same way at all times. And I don't have the foresight to step back and like organize the project. So Diana's got me in this system where I can make it work. Whereas before it would all be just ideas that piled up in papers on a desk somewhere that never went anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I think that if I can help other creators who are messed up like I am with that system, we can get more books out. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so Matt, you have like a brain to actually do this stuff. You figured out how to get your quotes and your orders out and stuff like that. I was doing none of this stuff before Diana came along. I would draw stuff and it would end up in a notebook that's on my shelf now.
He's got stacks of stuff that he's created along the years we've been together. It wasn't until, like I said, so when are you going to do something with it? Because you've got some talent. And the point that I'm trying to make is that, like, I need somebody who I can hire to help us get this up and off the ground. Because I am in school, I work full time, and I run the house. I don't want an agent. I just want somebody who's got like the background in all of this, like the marketing and the business sense.
Doesn't it sound like she wants an agent?
No.
Like a publishing agent?
Do I want an agent? Is that what I want? No.
You don't want a publishing agent?
No. I want somebody to help me navigate through this stuff. don't have time. I tried to watch a video today on.
Oh yeah, she was watching Amazon tutorial
I got
videos.
bored with it. I'm like, oh my god, this is awful.
This is how we market on Amazon.
Yeah, I couldn't do
And
it.
you can partake
The
if you buy
30-minute
this league.
Webinar.
Yeah,
But-
it was boring.
So okay, so I'm gonna stop talking. You stop talking. Let's hear from these guys. Got any suggestions?
But Doug Garrett, no, do you think, Skinny? I mean, I know he's published quite a few books now.
Yeah, well, that's Doug and I. You know, I'm the guy in the background helping Doug. He's actually
Oh, that's
wanting me
true.
to. Yeah, I don't know if I can say this publicly. If he doesn't like it, he can just eat a turd. But he just asked me to take over, like doing all the quotes and everything like that, to take the load off of him a little bit, because apparently I'm really good at it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I think
So-
it's in my genes because, like, you know, my family
Are you
for the
looking
most
for his
part has always been in some form of sales or retail. So I picked up a lot of shit along the way, whether I wanted to or not.
Otis Stein.
I know.
OTIS.
I can do this. I know. I'm listening to him. Stop. I'm
She's
sorry.
pulling
guys.
up your page so we can
I'm
back Otis
multitasking.
Stein.
He's like, it's Otis Stein. I'm like, I know. It's OTI.
right there, right there.
I'm trying to listen to what he was saying.
And well, I also made it easy for people too. You can just type in otisstein.com. I went in, bought the domain, not the domain.
I found you.
So-
It's a bitch.
Wow.
So Last of the Reapers deals with death and deals with the end of the world. Otis Stein, is he a take on Frankenstein?
Oh yeah, this is my love letter to like all the Universal monster movies that I grew up watching with my dad as a kid. And it goes more into like the Hammer films and stuff too, because it gets pretty gory. But yeah, this is my love letter to like what horror movies used to be, not this crazy just jump scare palooza that we have now, which I don't think is horror, because jump scares like
Yeah, I hate
I don't
that.
know.
It's more.
It
It's
doesn't-
more like a fun house in an amusement park.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
horror movies used to be, I mean, they still come out with some good ones, but it used to be something that you watched and it unsettled you so much you'd be thinking about it like days afterwards. You'd be like, man, that's really messed up. Now it's just like a jump scare. You like jump up and then you're
Yeah,
over
they
it.
do that like at the end of every movie now. It seems like they like that end of the new Carrie. I think didn't Carrie die and come back to life? I mean, they do that in all those movies that
You get the book too.
somebody dies and then they come back to life, or you think they're dead.
Hang on, you know what? Let's just
Oh.
interrupt them rudely. So I know that we're pushing Last of the Reapers, available on Kickstarter today and for about a month. But while we're doing that, we're looking at Otis Stein's
I like
IGG.
The Gravestone Press. That's
The
so
Gravestone.
cool.
Wait a minute. The Gravestone. The Grave Robber.
The Gravestone Press.
Yeah, but let's talk about the Grave Robber for a second. That's the name of the package.
Yeah. I
It
like
appears to have two comics.
that.
It
No.
appears
Yeah.
to yes. Yeah.
Lone
See?
Wolf and Otis Stein.
Yes,
right?
that's two comics, a poster, a digital PDF, and
exclusive swag.
exclusive swag.
All right, so we got to do that.
Yeah.
we're just
the
like,
exclusive swag is basically our leftover inventory. Like Doug has a bunch of Lone Wolf stickers left over, as well as Gravestone Press stickers.
Right.
I got that
right.
small limited batch that I got from Sticker Mule. So like that stuff that we're not getting reprinted at any point in time. So
yeah. We did the same thing with our first Kickstarter for Hero Shack. I had a bunch of inventory, still do, from the
Not as much though. We really
not as
don't.
much. We gave away a lot.
We gave
but-
away a lot of the back issues. We had a lot of stickers, a lot
right
of
from the
buttons and
conventions
things
from
like that.
2019. So it's all old anyways, and God forgive me, it was still fun to give out. But it was old stuff. Like come next season 2021, if we get to hit the conventions, if COVID
Mhm.
finally calms down, we'll have new merchandise. So it's like, yeah, we were able to do this.
yeah, Doug actually approached me about. He's like, hey, I still got copies of Lone Wolf, and I got a bunch of stickers and stuff left over. We should do a tier where we offer all that with your book. It's like, okay, yeah, let's do that.
So who's Doug? Is he another artist?
So let's
Ah.
talk about Doug for a minute. Doug is a co-creator with you. My wife doesn't know
Well-
Doug at all.
No, well, he's not a co-creator. He's just my best friend. I've known him for years, and when him and I first started to get into CG, he decided to do his own comic book, and I've been there since day one, like pushing him to do it, helping him with stuff.
Mhm.
Over time, you know, we went from just being friends to now we're, in a weird way, we're kind of business partners, I guess.
That's
because,
super
like,
cool.
I'm the Irish indentured servant. So he just finds stuff to do, and he's like, Skinny, I need this done. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Because I don't know, I like helping people, man. Like, I don't know, it gets me high. Maybe that's a selfish thing to say, but I like helping people.
No, I do too. You know what? It's like I know that we're gonna try to run a quarter-page ad for your next Otis project in this book, and I know that we're gonna be running one for Pyramid Nights.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 left over, which I could run one for my next book, and then we can just find something else. But
How about Terry?
if Terry's book is even, yeah, if he wants, I don't know if he's even ready to announce it yet.
Oh, all right.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to announce it yet, but the thing is,
Okay.
when I'm going to be going with the indie crowdfund because they're going to have retailers also backing books.
That's the one I was talking about. That's the one I was thinking we need
What's
to look
it
at
called?
too. Indie crowdfunder.
Yeah, it's run by the Wheelers, and it's aimed at retailers. I'm looking to put my book on there as well because they don't have any exclusive thing. I mean, I'm going to put my book anywhere I can get it. If I could put it on OnlyFans, I probably would.
Why couldn't we? That's another thing about comics. You know, like this comic, Last of the Reapers, is definitely somewhere between PG-13 and rated R.
I can't
Like
find
if
it.
we were to talk about the equivalent. And it's not because of sex, and it's really not even because of the language. It's because there'll be some really graphic stuff. There's already some graphic stuff, but the point being, it's more mature than anything I've ever done. And I thought about that. Why couldn't I put a mature book like on fans only? But that's because that's primarily for adult entertainment of the other kind, right?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't intended to be that way. They just kind of took over. But yeah, that's basically what it is now. It's a ethos.
Yeah.
Wouldn't say that.
I can't find the indie crowdfunding. Is it Indiegogo?
No. It's indie crowdfunder.
It's-
IndieCrowdfund.com.
Thank you.
My wife is more like
Yeah.
a participant.
Ah.
She just sits here and looks up.
Oh, I'm listening. I'm totally listening. Stop.
So what are the metal trading cards like? Because they seem pretty expensive, but I know metal is it tends to be expensive when something's printed on metal.
They are, honey. My opinion is they're beautifully printed cards. They're the size of a baseball card.
Yeah.
They're printed one-sided, and I just love them. I got a bunch of stuff in metal before that had Marvel stuff on it from one of the guys at the convention, and he turned me on to the printer that actually made them. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't know what they're ever going to be worth. To me, they're just really cool. I am thinking about trying to print a total metal comic, but it would be very expensive and very heavy to ship. But one day, if we ever get the following, I would
We're
love
not
to do
doing
it.
a metal comic book anytime
Oh,
soon.
but it would be so sweet
That
to
is
do.
him.
What Preston did was he's got like a print of like his cover, and it's to one of his comic books, or I think several comic books, and it's on metal.
The same company that I'm working with, and I don't know if I shared this with Preston or not, but there's a few companies. They offer that same thing, a metal cover feature. But I haven't talked to my sales rep yet to see if they could possibly do a whole book.
Well, I don't think. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it's normally attached to the book because it's like metal. I don't think that would fold very easily
It would
unless
have
it's like
to be like
aluminum foil or something.
it would have to be like a Flintstone thing with like a huge metal hoop to bind it. You know what I mean? And like it would be like lifting it. Yeah.
I just cut yourself on the pages. That does not sound.
Oh, bleed for the comic, baby! It's that good. No,
Well,
I
don't know
still
if you've seen the chat, but you did just get a backer thanks to Jake. in the
Jake,
chat.
brother, I didn't realize that. So Jake, that means he wins.
Who does?
Jake
wins. Oh, cool. So let me
So
go to our
where's the book?
Kickstarter. It's right here.
Oh,
So
so did you only have one of those left?
we do only have one of these left.
Because I missed out on that.
We do
I was
have
trying to figure out which tier to back.
And honestly, guys, if you want it signed, let us know. Well, actually, because Kickstarter has that weird survey thing, we always ask if you want it signed inside or outside the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, myself, I've always been like a reader, not a collector, so I don't care if it's signed or not. And if it is signed, I usually want it like on the inside ad or whatever, because I'm like, don't mess up my cover, man.
Well,
It has to be like
Jake
somebody like Frank Miller or John Byrne.
yeah, I'm on the fence about signing because, like that, if you ever do get a book graded, that takes away from your overall grade because they have to witness it mainly at a con for it to even count.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that either. They think, oh, this one's going to be signed so I can get that, sweet. I think, what color is it? A yellow label.
I'll be right back. I have to go get my card to do something.
Your card?
I have to go get my card, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know what you're doing. Do you want my card?
No. I
Okay.
have to go
You
get
want your
my
card?
yes.
That's the Otis. She's going for Otis Stein. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
Jake appears to not be aware of what he won, though, Chris.
Oh, yeah. We were giving away, and we'll be doing more, the Hero Shack 2019 collection sandbox. Okay. So this is everything I produced in 2019 in one volume, which was 4 comics with a loose storyline. It does conclude by the end of it, but it's a cliffhanger that will likely never get picked up because I changed it in the In Search of Heroes series. But it's a nice collection. Diana and I we adore it. So we're like, yeah, let's put that out for free first.
Well, I mean, if you back us with a $12 donation or more, you get the book. That's
it's a $15.
or $15.
Where'd you
or
get
whatever.
12? Are you
I don't know.
discounting? I like that.
I just, yeah.
My
I'm
wife is
multitasking.
sales oriented. Oh, you're probably looking at Otis, but it's like 24.
Yeah,
You're getting all confused.
I am getting all confused, but that's nothing new. All right, guys.
That's
Don't
a new
you
card.
pay
She's got a new
attention-
card. Holy
Pay
cow.
attention to
I
this.
didn't know we had that card.
I have it. I can't tell you these things because you will go and spend money that you do not need to spend.
I have a thing.
No, you don't. I do.
Yeah, Jake, you did. Jake is the guy you never remember.
Hi, Jake. I remember you.
So Eric Hawkins says, as a creator, you can sign up for a creator account with CGC. I think you can send in your books signed and they will grade them since you are the creator.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
that's a pretty cool thing to do. I think Lorenzo just came back, right?
Yeah, sorry about that. My phone died. Hopefully went to
Right,
heaven.
Are you on the Chromebook now?
Yeah.
Wow, you sound crisp and clear.
Yeah, I have a condenser mic, but I'm not using it. I figured, I found out that the laptop mic is good enough. And
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay.
because the condenser mic can sometimes end up
Would you
too
get
far
me-
away from me.
I bought a Christmas gift for somebody.
No, you didn't. You got me Otis Stein. I just
Stop.
want to know.
You're not supposed to tell yourself the Christmas gift I just got you.
But was it the Gravedigg one?
Was the one I
Yeah.
wanted. I actually bought it
Sweet.
for you guys. So
You
let's get
didn't
back
buy
to-
it for you, but it's for me.
It's for
It's
me.
going in my collection with
It's
my
going in
indie
my
books.
stocking for Christmas.
Actually, you know what, Terry? Remember we wanted to get her into comics. This could start her.
Well, that's what the Slee Stack perk is. You get
Yeah,
you get two of them.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm like excited. Okay, so enough doing
Enough.
stuff that I shouldn't be doing right now, and get back to
Yeah. See,
Smash.
we're in a show this whole time.
I know.
I wonder
so
if Gary's
bad.
still around. Have you been on Facebook at
I
all?
have. He's not here anymore, but he might have been working.
Yeah. So Pyramid Nights on the 15th of September, right?
I don't know, honey. You
Yeah.
want?
Yeah, I think we're doing Pyramid Nights on the 15th of this month.
He sets these things up and he doesn't tell me, and then he's like, "Remember?" I'm like, "No."
Well, it's going to be cool because we haven't seen Gary since the last convention we did with him. So he's going to come over. We're going to have dinner, and then we're going to sit down and stream a show
What
out.
night is that? That's on a Thursday night.
The 15th?
I believe it's on a Thursday. Or is it a Friday?
It might be a Wednesday.
We'll figure
But
it
I'm
out.
excited because we'll
So-
be doing that. Yes. So
Let's get back to shop talk. Never mind.
shop talk.
Never mind. Never mind what we may or may
All
not
right.
be
So let's
doing.
talk shop.
Talk shop.
Oh,
Apple.
also,
Yes. Save
I
me.
threw it out on the Twitters, but just in case any of your viewers are watching, the first 3 people, Jake excluded because he already backed my book. Well, he already turned it down. He said to save it for the next guy. But the next 3 people who backed Chris's book, Last of the Reapers, I'll send you a digital PDF of Otis Time for free.
Oh, that is a good idea too.
That's
We,
awesome.
you know what, bro? We can cross promote like that, and I won't do it immediately while you're doing it, but we can give that out and cross promote for
Yeah.
Otis.
Absolutely.
Because
No, well, that's the whole thing. Like, I have done some reading, and it takes a lot of time to get up there and market and promote and do all of the online stuff. And
or you got to do something really crazy.
don't you remember you?
I
had me-
thought about a stunt. If I dressed up like a
No.
reaper
Yeah.
and I stood on a plane and flew up and down the beach, we could probably get a lot of hits.
You stood on a plane.
Yeah,
you would
like
probably die.
I'm talking about like the biplanes. You know how you stand on the wings?
You're crazy. What's wrong with you? No, you're not doing that. That doesn't make any kind of sense.
I don't want to hire a stunt man. They're expensive.
You're gonna do your own stuff.
Yeah, we do everything in this
Have
company.
you seen Chris? Like, he's not a
Well-
physical guy. He's definitely a mental guy. That
Yeah,
didn't come out
I'm
right.
like,
He's
I'm like
brain more than his brawn. They should have said, not like you're a mental guy. What you are.
well, my mental powers have declined. Like I still can't get my Pepsi to float over here. Ugh.
He's not even funny.
But, one stunt I'm actually doing, which isn't on the campaign page, but I announced it on Twitter that if my book actually gets to 1,500, that I'm going to have my wife live stream me getting the Otis Stein logo tattooed.
Nice.
I saw something like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's something fun. I mean, you know, I'm going to get the tattoo regardless. So,
Right.
but if people want to see it get it done, that's the only way. They'll get
Hey,
to see
you know
me
what?
cry like a little mini.
Well, see, that I could see. Him flying or standing on an airplane, I can't see. One time,
I'd want to stand on the airplane more than the tattoo. I'm terrified of tattoos.
yes, he is. He's pretty much a
How are you terrified of tattoos, but not standing on top of a biplane?
He's afraid of
Thank
needles.
you.
That's the problem.
It's got a needle. Yeah, the needle, man. That little tiny. Oh,
You guys, when we had our marriage test, you know, for blood work way back then,
we almost didn't get married.
he almost walked out on me. He's like, I can't do this. I'm like, what do you need? You need to do it. I don't need to do this. I'm like, well, then we're not getting married. I'm like,
I just look the other way
I just
when I
had,
get blood tests. Or
I
whatever.
held his hand. I did. I held
I
his
look
hand.
the other way. I grit my teeth.
He squeezed
I-
my poor
I
fingers.
project my vision beams usually out the window so not to hurt the doctor.
Yeah.
I have to restrain my power because needles freak me out.
They do.
Well, when I was like 3 years old, they broke a needle in my skin.
Oh, okay.
And
And
I
he had some
don't
trauma around
particularly remember it, but I remember the panic of it. And I was told about it so much growing up that it's kind of like that must be where it came from. But yeah, if you
Why
want,
would anybody retell that story to you?
oh, they were that my family was cold and cruel. Wouldn't you say, honey?
Oh boy.
They were different.
Yeah, it was like, hey, remember that time you freaked out?
Yeah, they were into, let's see that 1.5-year-old that's just learning how to walk. Let's trip him multiple times and let him
Oh
cry. I
boy.
think it's funny.
Yeah.
They were very different. And I just looked at them like, this is not okay. It's like, we need to have a conversation now.
Yeah.
So were they like bullies, or were they just had a not a good understanding about humor?
I think that they were borderline bully and playful. They just
Oh,
thought
okay.
it was extremely funny to see this poor baby fall
Oh, I
and
see.
attack.
Yeah.
And it was not
Okay,
funny.
good.
And I said, you are making this poor child become very aggressive. And then they didn't understand why the child would hit the adult. Like, if somebody was
Oh,
doing
boy.
that to me, I would pounce all over them. It just was crazy. But that was many, many years ago. Water under the bridge. The kids are all grown, thank God. There's no grandbabies to worry about. Not for us, anyways.
No, yeah, we have some on the way someday soon, I'm sure.
Mhm.
The Lord will provide me a grandson who I can pass on the talent to.
I know.
Although my stepdaughter is remarkably talented, and I would one day love to get her involved in comics. But
She will someday.
yeah, but you know what's cool about her? She's very talented, but she hasn't come into comics because it's not her passion.
Yeah, she's just not.
But she could be one of those Marvel styled artists who just
Absolutely.
came in and crapped out 24 pages because it's that easy, but
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't have any passion for it. So it's highly respectable of her.
And and she like, we've talked to her about doing a page in one of Chris's books, and it's just she hasn't done
Well, we
it.
brought her out on tour even on
We took her
to the
a Comic-Con.
conventions as an
She
artist,
sold a ton of her prints.
Yep.
She does a lot of dragon mythical creatures and things like
Oh
that.
wow.
Very, very cool. And if her website was updated, I'd share the link, but she'd be mortified.
But-
if I shared it now, and I keep telling her, we have the stream, we can just kind of put it out there and see, if people
Terry,
want
we
to
see
check
you,
on it and
brother.
stuff like that.
Well, if she wants to, she could do something like this.
Oh yeah.
Is it like a sketchbook or?
No, it's a comic.
Okay. I don't know. I just don't know if somebody doesn't do sequential art. Oh, hey Tim, it's the Bunny Man, Tim Lim.
Hey. Now the Bunny Man makes the help me here.
He makes all the good. He
This
makes
is
all
Tim
the
Lim.
good parody comics on Donald Trump.
Yeah, the Trump Space Force and
We are honored to have you amongst us.
Walmart.
Who's the bunny
Oh, he's got Black Hops, but I don't know if that one fits in. But
My Hero, Macadamia.
yeah,
Walmart.
what was the one with
Yep.
Otis Stomp in it? What was the one with?
That was Walmart First Term Part 2.
What was that?
That was Walmart First Term Part 2.
Man,
There's something like that.
It's thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually also like a pretty hardcore fan of these of comic book related live streams.
Yeah. This is the official post of what I'm doing now.
There you go. Hang on. There we go.
Oh, that's cool. My favorite
That's
color, purple. Love it.
Well, the comic itself is going to be in black and white, so
Oh well.
So that's color for the cover?
yeah. This is just a poster here.
Right.
Well, covers are always done in color at some point, so
I'm looking. I was looking. I can see it better on my screen.
It's funny because she's seeing it in Facebook, so she's like 4 or 5 seconds behind.
I am. I was like, oh yeah. Now
Yeah. So what else can we do tonight? What else can we talk about?
well, it's 9:00.
Is it really?
Yeah. So
Holy cow!
your co-host will
Wanted
be moving along, but you are to stay and promote and talk with your pals because they're all here, right?
My pals, listen to
pals.
us, guys. We're pals now.
Your pals.
Oh, the pals!
colleagues.
We can hang out longer, Mom. Are we allowed?
Yes. I
Yes.
have a test I gotta take tonight. I'm sorry, you guys.
Yeah, you're gonna ditch us for school.
I always did you for school, but today I was so focused. I had the day off, and I was so focused to get my homework done so that I didn't have to leave early. And then a friend of ours, a couple showed up and talked for 2 hours, which was great. It was lovely to see them. I loved it, but it put me behind, so I got done really late.
It put me behind too, but fortunately, I'm a cartoonist,
No, it did
and it took me no time to catch up.
It did not.
It did. I had to do the next. So the way I do it is I break down the pages and then I slowly build them up to where they're going to be published. And I'm still I've got like 11 pages more to finish.
Yeah.
So I was just drilling away, but those 2 hours took away from that.
Mm-hmm.
It was
I know,
heartbreaking.
but it was okay. It was all right.
It was rough. It was rough, but it was worth it for our friends because we love our friends.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going now?
I am going to text you the sign-in information for Indiegogo so you can get our stuff up there.
So we're gonna put what on there?
The Reaper thing.
We're gonna put the Reaper on there.
Why not?
So here's
Right?
my
Shouldn't
fear,
we do
and
that?
you guys tell me because this is my
Come on
fear.
now. What is your
I
fear?
think we're going to be lucky to get $667 on Kickstarter. I don't know how we're going to get more money out of Indiegogo.
Why do you worry? Why do you worry about that?
I'm not
Put it out
worried.
in
I
faith.
just
Don't just do it. Just do
put
it.
out in faith.
Yeah, just do it.
Jesus, make my
Listen,
Reaper
and if-
book successful.
And if it doesn't go anywhere, then we know.
By the way,
Yeah.
guys, Jesus
Exactly.
is in this book. You should understand. But it's going to be a wonderful,
But
funny
it's not a
thing.
religious book.
No, it's definitely not religious.
Is
Just-
Jesus a velociraptor in this book?
There is not.
I'd like to have one.
Okay.
We could put one. We could
It has some
manage it.
dinosaurs or something. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of weird, but we do have monsters of all varieties. So.
Oh, okay. It's good to. Do you have any like green representation?
Yes,
Okay. Wow.
yes, we'll
I'll
have.
definitely back it then.
In fact, I'm going to have my version of zombies in this book as well. And it's going to be funny because the zombies don't actually want to eat anybody. They're falling apart and rotting. They're soulless. They have no spirit.
You've taken all the fun out of the zombie comic, man.
Yes, I for this one shot, I've totally messed with them. Vampires in this one shot are also real, but they're little wussies. They like don't have any real powers. They just try to leech off of homeless people.
Oh, there you go. That sounds like more like a what do they
Sounds
call
like
them? They call them spiritual vampires. They kind of like steal people's like life energy or something.
Yeah, the psychic vampire too.
Psychic
They call it
vampires,
that, too,
yeah.
yeah.
Psychic vampire.
It sounds kind of like that, but a little different.
So, which city is hiring these vampires as public servants?
Yeah.
You're looking mighty cute over there.
No, no comment.
You come here often?
I mean, it's just they're only attacking homeless people. Which city is hiring these vampires?
What? Will you stop? Oh my God, you guys. Will you talk to Chris, please? Because he's
Wow,
really
you sounded.
annoying.
You know who you sounded like there?
No.
Emily.
Oh, God.
Stop!
Because I'm trying to paste something. I was
We-
trying to like, oh,
I don't understand.
I know.
I'm very confused.
I know.
Are you going to plug that in when you're done?
Yep, I am.
Because you did that last time, it was very well charged. I want to
Thank you.
congratulate you
Yeah,
on that.
well, very
That
good.
was wonderful.
Why are you talking to me and not Jared?
Well, because you are the eye candy. Once you leave, I've got to go off camera because people will leave.
No, they won't.
Yeah,
Oh crap!
they will. They see me and they go, "Oh my
Tell him to
gosh!"
stop that nonsense. He's just being ridiculous, and you all know it. He's being absolutely.
Well, if you look at the chat sometimes, right after you leave, there is always someone who says, "Oh man, did she have to go?"
Always.
Bull dinkies. Nice try, guys. All right, so listen, I signed off of Facebook, so you were in charge. I posted the link again. I think I'm gonna.
Look, honey, there you are.
Hey, how'd I do that?
Well, because you did it in Facebook.
Oh.
When you did it, did you hold the shift key?
No,
Because that's how that happens when you hold the shift key.
I didn't hold the shift key.
It was cap locks on.
I control alt.
You control alted it.
He's totally messing with me, and I'm falling for it all the time. I fall for it. It's not funny. So yes, I have got to go work on my homework.
All right.
It's been nice chatting with you guys as always.
Yeah, nice chatting with you too.
All right, Diana, we're gonna need we want a copy of your report card when it comes. All right.
Okay. I will. I'm doing well. I'm A's so far, so this is good. But yeah.
You know why? You might be just a little too straight for us heads.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
right.
problem.
Go back to the classroom, you nerd.
Yeah, I
You
love my classroom.
You go back there, you nerd.
Stop. One day I'm gonna write a book. It's gonna be amazing. You are all gonna be super surprised. I feel it. And I've been working on it in my brain. It just hasn't materialized.
I don't
yet.
think they can hear you.
Good.
You're faced away from the
We
mic.
can just barely.
You couldn't hear that, right? I said I'm working on my book. It's in my brain at this point. It's in the brain stage. I'm serious. I am.
I think she belongs to the old comic skate.
Yeah.
I didn't say
She's
it was
working on her book.
gonna- I didn't say it was going to be
Yeah.
a comic book. I said
Planning
I'm
it out bit by bit.
Hey,
You're doing the
listen.
children's book, right?
Yes, I'm working on a children's
I've been
book.
hearing about this children's book for 3 years.
Oh, that's cool.
But guys, listen, I'm a very busy person. I also have things that I do.
You need to go do your things, babe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So anyway, Skinny,
Most
I
of us
can't
have
wait to see.
Thought
I
about
can't wait to
doing a
see.
children's book.
What's that? I can do a children's book. You watch.
We'll see, honey. We'll see. I'm very hopeful.
Tell Steve that I can't wait for his book because I don't think he heard me.
Skinny, Diana
Oh,
says she
thank
can't read the book.
I can't wait to send her a copy or to send
Well,
you
hey,
a Christmas
hey.
present.
Oh my goodness.
Now we got Tim K and Tim's in here. We got a lot of cool people in the chat right now.
Hello, gentlemen. Welcome to Hero Shot Chronicles after Diana leaves. That's my wife. She's always agreed to do the 1 hour on Monday night, but she's very strict to that 1 hour, and she always has a good excuse, you know. When it's not school, it's dishes, or her show is on. That was an old excuse.
Well, it sounds like she's got a really busy. It sounds like you both have busy schedules.
Well, her is more so. Mine is only busy because I've kind of made it my life mission to make comics now. It's like I go through obsessions. Anybody with autism can probably relate. But like I learned how to play guitar in a year because I just sat at home and played it. I learned how to do comics the same way, just sitting at home and drawing them. And that's what I'm doing now. The only save of grace is I draw on an iPad Pro, so I can take that anywhere. She's used that to make me more social. We need more Tims. Yes, Tims are great.
Yeah, Tim Allen actually has a summer home up here in northern Michigan. He
Home Improvement?
Yeah, there was an episode of Home Improvement where they actually were staying at the Grand Rivers Resort, if I recall correctly, which is just one town over from me in Acme. It's right near Traverse City. It's now owned by the Grand Rivers Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians. It's right near their one of their casinos. But it's kind of cool. We got a bunch of celebrities around here. Never actually see them except Michael Moore. I've seen a few too many times.
Isn't Ted Nugent up there too? Or
I don't know if he's in northern Michigan, but he is in Michigan. I used to be. I was a little embarrassed by that. Now I think it's really cool. I mean, I know he's kind of.
He's always been the crazy guy, you know.
Yeah, he's always been outlandish.
And now is no exception. He must be like in his 70s or 80s by now.
He's
Well, you got to remember,
yeah, I don't
these
know.
people control it too.
He got to at least be in the 60s.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I was listening to some old 80s music, and he came on with the Damn Yankees, and I started laughing because his guitar was not made for that sound, and yet they produced it so that he would fit. It was weird.
that's interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
Nugent was more like he was always more like a, Wango Tango 1 2 3 4. He was like very traditional rock, and Damn Yankees was more like sappy ballads and just weak women music. No offense to women, it wasn't metal. It wasn't Ted Nugent music.
Yeah.
You got to remember the thing in the '90s. Metal bands discovered power ballads, and it changed everything.
Yeah, it did. Whoa, he's 71 years old.
Irony of it. Yeah, you want to know the irony of that?
What's
the
that?
Power ballad sounded a lot better than the power ballad. Always sounded better than the ballad that you normally hear on the radio, for some reason.
Well, it always
I
had
guess
that
because it was unexpected.
I don't know. I'd love to see heavy metal make a return, but it's going to have to change, and it can't be what it was.
Is a power ballad when they start singing a sappy love song?
Yeah.
Like they're pretending that it doesn't
The
always
thing is,
work.
it was so emotional that it made most people cry.
It had its day power.
It did what the
definitely
normal
had,
ballad couldn't do.
I think a lot of people maybe had children to that music, if you know what I mean.
Sometimes.
Try to keep it kind of family friendly in my way I phrase it.
But like I remember songs like Wait from White Lion, right? And that was a great song for when your chick broke up with you, but you still wanted to date her. And it was like, wait, I never had a chance to love you. And like sometimes that sappy music would work. Like the mixtape was a reality.
Were they Christian?
What's that?
Weren't they a Christian band?
Which one?
White Lion?
No. White Lion was.
Okay. I'm getting them confused with another.
Let's see. Their biggest hit was probably Wait, but they also did Radar Love. That was a cover hit they had. When the Children Cry, that was another ballad that was kind of big one summer.
Right.
And now Radar Love.
It all started with a song that was supposed to be a filler. You guys remember Every Rose Has a Thorn?
Oh yeah.
That started out as a filler, but it became popular by accident.
Well, the same thing happened with was it Love Hurts by Nazareth?
Songs as fillers. Mm-hmm.
Because that was just a song that they like wrote in like 2 minutes just to put as filler on their own.
Oh yeah,
too.
yeah.
That would be their greatest hit.
I had a friend who was in a band or was a friend of a friend or something, and I don't even remember the details now about who it was, but they had this track on WKLT, and it was like the worst song on the album, and they were like, "Yeah, we just made this for a filler to throw it in, at the last minute. We didn't expect that to be a hit." Which nowadays I probably wouldn't go like insult a musician and say, "Oh, I don't think that was a very good song. I think you got better songs or whatever." But back then, I probably didn't know any better.
Well, nowadays though, there's no B-side; it's all sold by the single, right? So there's a whole missing piece to that.
There is.
Yeah. It'll never be reoccurring again unless they start selling songs 2 for 1.
Right. The B sides were always had a quirky sound to them.
Yeah, it usually was the least likely track to get radio airplay, and every once in a while they'd screw up, and the radio stations would say, "Screw the A side."
Right,
and just flip it over.
It was the cool side.
I think I heard Kiss say something about Hard Luck Woman was no, it wasn't Hard Luck Woman. One of their songs did the same thing. Maybe it was Black
I
Diamond.
know the song you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it.
Yeah, they had a song that was a B-side and ended up being one of their biggest songs too.
Yeah, so a lot of times the B-sides seem like the really creative songs, and it might not even make it on the album. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's different. And I think things were different in the UK than in America, because in America they'd be like a hit song on the album, and I guess it'd be on the record. I don't know what
The B-side is usually sold as the second side of a single, so because radio stations usually buy singles and not entire albums.
Yeah, but one of the reasons why those songs tend to be really good is because they don't put a lot of thought into it. Think of it like when you're drawing. I know you're probably like this, Chris. If you correct too much and you spend too much time on a drawing, you ruin it. And that's the same thing with music. And a lot of these B-sides that become huge, it's just because they pooped out a thought and they didn't put really in, they didn't tweak it, they didn't do anything. They just said, let's roll. And you get the band raw. And that's really what people want.
The A-sides are specifically made to just, we're going to go and do something to get on the air. But sometimes the B-sides, a better song, because some of the song to get on the air might sound like everything else, and people might be sick of that. But the B-side, I guess a lot of times those only ended up on compilations.
Right.
But people like it so much, they would like to demand a compilation. It's like I want all these songs on one album, all these great songs. Yeah, when I'm looking for music on YouTube, I'm looking for B-sides and demos.
I'm always amazed at what was B-side when I hear it. Because if I'm looking for it, I think it's a hit. You know what I mean? And there are times where you bump into it and you're like, oh my God, this was B? Wow, that's cool, But it's the same thing with comics, though. Like Last of the Reapers may actually have I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but there may be a short, like little 5-page story with a couple of little characters. But that's the kind of stuff that, in comic books, sometimes the side story is the one that ends up making it, and the main vehicle becomes like lost.
Yeah, I still can't believe I missed out on that first campaign. Well, I don't. Well, it's not even a comic book, but
you know what else I've noticed? A lot of people do longer campaigns. I try to keep mine at 30 days.
Yeah, that's what threw me off. Is that how it's going to go on demand or something?
But I'm really new at the whole thing. So keeping it small is great for us. It keeps our costs down. That way, even if I screw up and as long as we fund, even if I screw up, there's usually not enough orders to make it so that I can screw up that bad.
I was going to say earlier, and I felt kind of bad because I do try to be a little bit even-handed about even with EVS. One of the things in his defense that he had said about Indiegogo and just keeping on one platform is he personally likes to see like a big number, versus like a bunch of small numbers where you add up and you get the same amount of backers or whatever.
Right.
If you use Kickstarter and Indiegogo, he wants it all to go through one place so he can see that big number. But for you, it doesn't seem like that would make sense because you're trying to do things kind of small batch style or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want bigger numbers. It's that I'm content with having a small and a happy group of readers, and if that small and happy group grows, amen. That's awesome. But if I could just sit here and make books for the rest of my life and have 5 people read them, I'd be happy.
It's like this. You and I, we started a campaign. We were like, our goal would be like 10 to 15 people to back it. So it's like, okay, if we get these 10 to 15 people, maybe they'll tell somebody. Just keep our fingers crossed about that.
I do have a belief, though.
Everybody.
if you can touch the core of somebody's heart in some way, whether that's your art, your story, or a combination of the both, and you can get them to relate to it, that's like the biggest part of making them spread the word. Like,
Exactly.
I always look at my stuff and I go, was it good enough? Would it inspire? And every time, I'll be honest, every time I look backwards, I shoot down my own stuff. But whenever it's coming out, I feel like I'm doing the best ever of what I've done. And it always is. It's always like the latest is the greatest. But looking back, my own worst critic, I always probably will be. Because going backwards,
majority of our that's the thing.
Well, this one looks really, really. I mean, the previous campaign looked really good. I just didn't. I was a bit confused about my finances and everything, whether or not I had money.
You need to know, though, there's never any worry about that,
better.
bro. You're my bro, man. All you guys, if you can back it and you want to back it, great. If you can't, that's fine. If you don't want to and you just want to be friends, that's fine.
Well, I'd like to.
But you know what I'm saying? I'll never hound my friends to be my backers. Like, we had a family cookout this weekend, and my sister-in-law comes in and goes, "Okay, this time you have to get me to sign on to your Kickstarter and I'll back it." And I said sure, and then I didn't do it because I'm like, I don't want to force her into that. Like it's almost like a family thing. I'm like, no, when it's good enough, you're gonna figure it out. I won't have to show you. And that will be success for me then. That's the kind of success I like.
I just got confused by the number of perks. That's what happens on when campaigns have too many perks.
Yep.
I get all confused.
Well, I kept this one as simple as I could, except I did add that 3 issues with a $5 discount. That was pretty much just to have like trying to follow Preston's initial advice of having 5 perks, and they go up in price a little bit, and there's a little bit more in each one. That one there was kind of silly. I don't know if it'll sell any, but I'm like, well, if somebody wants 3 copies, there's a thing right there. And I'm still learning. So maybe next time, it's more, or maybe it's less, or I don't know.
I have to get 2 copies and 2 sketchbooks or art books or whatever.
Well, I've never understood people who buy more than one. And then I forgot there are retailers and there are collectors who may want more than one. It's because I think of everybody like myself.
Collectors want one to read and one to save. That's the thing.
Okay, so Tim says, tip, do not ever look at your backer listing. Prevents guilting people from backing you and also exonerates you from future accusations of doxing. Yeah, I have seen your backers list, but Diana handles it all.
Well, don't you need to mail them out to people, or?
No, I have heard from people.
Well, he started about don't look at the list until after the campaign is over.
I don't get the email saying, hey, so-and-so backed your campaign for this much. So I haven't even looked at the backers. Honestly, I love every backer, but I'm not going to look. I don't care. That's a hole I don't want to dive into, because when you look in the abyss, it poops on you.
It's kind of like where your priorities lie. Like, I don't care who's backing. I just care don't get me wrong, I love the backers too, but it's like, how do you put that without sounding like you don't care? Because I do care, but in a bigger sense, I'd rather I'd rather have a friend any day than a backer. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how
last
do you
and that can be an unnecessary strain, because you might look on there and you're like, oh, hey, Lorenzo never backed my book, and then now Lorenzo, he's my friend, but now I have that little devil sitting on my shoulder. Like, why didn't that green bastard back my book? Is he not my friend?
So how do you deliver something how do you mail something out if you don't put the person's name on there?
Yeah, you can.
No, that's after the campaign, though. We're talking about looking at the backer list, like
while the campaign is going.
Oh, while it's happening? Oh, that would be crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be really crazy.
because if you look at it while the campaign is going, it kind of affects you in a way.
You start
That's why you're
sending,
doing
you
it.
start having attitude with people you like the
Right.
ones who say they would and didn't, or things like that. And
Right.
you know
You
what?
wait till after the campaign is over and funded, and then just look at the list to see who ordered.
Yep, yep.
This
But
way, you don't
it's
I
lose
don't
such
any
a
friends.
silly thing to divide on. You know, like I just know that when my stuff is really doing well, people will be buying because it's doing well, not because I could, guilt trip them into it. And that was
Yeah,
my
there's a couple
that was my
people
thing
tried
with my
to do that
sister-in-law.
to me. Two creators tried to do that to me, and yeah, that was not a very good way for them to promote their stuff because I'm live well below the poverty line, so like I try so
Well,
I'm trying to back everybody's books, but it seems like all of my friends have books all at the same time. It's overwhelming, especially
yeah,
because there's all these perks
and
and I never know which one to back, except for with skinnies.
With
With
skinnies.
skinnies, and then with some of the other projects that Doug's run, I mean,
I know,
next published. I mean,
Mhm.
and I know
His
back my
audio
book
blocked
just
out.
because they're my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want anybody to feel like they owe me that support.
Right.
If a friend looks at Otis Stein and they're like, this book, I support Skinny. I'm going to share his link out like crazy, but I really don't like horror books. That's okay.
That's okay. That's what I'm saying.
I don't want people to feel pressured. Like I have to do this, otherwise Skinny's not my friend. No, you're still my
for me,
friend.
that's a genre I like a lot more than like superheroes because it seems like superheroes have been so kind of like kind of oversaturated.
Yeah.
The market.
Yeah,
Especially the
it's
movies
definitely
More of a vigilante type book or detective type book than
it's very
than
hard to
anything
keep.
else.
Yeah, it's very hard to keep the superhero thing going because of the oversaturation.
Right.
I love superheroes myself, but I do know exactly what you're talking about. And to be honest, doing the Reaper book has reinvigorated me because it's more challenging to try to draw like a normal person in rubble digging for food than it is, drawing the Hulk coming up from a building that's crushed on his head. For some reason, it's just more challenging.
Yeah, it's. I just think it's a lot more interesting because, and I do think it's good to have
This is why
some
characters
comic books that
like
are.
Daredevil and like I said, this is why characters like Daredevil and Batman are so intriguing. Even though they really don't have any superpowers, it's their struggles to keep up with those who do have superpowers that makes them interesting.
Yeah, I've always been a street level fan. Honestly,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I never liked Superman. I mean, I respect him as a character. Don't send me no hate. But he was a powerhouse. Like, you look at him or even Wolverine, like they're basically unstoppable. I got to the same point with like say Goku in Dragon Ball Z. You get to the point where there's no gravity, nothing's on the line. It's hard to explain, but then when I turn around and I read something like Moon Knight, who his power is just being crazy. That's it.
Right.
I find more to that story because you have such a flawed character, and at any moment he could have Wolverine come and like take off his leg, and then that's it. That's it for Moon Knight. He's done for.
Well,
And they
it's
also
kind of go ahead.
Well, they also tend to go into a lot of more adult themes and street level stuff, like more relatable stuff than the typical, Superman. Like Moon Knight had this whole run. I think Houston was on it for Huston, however you say his name, where Mark was addicted to painkillers.
Mm-hmm.
It was just nice stuff to read that you wouldn't expect. They can take more chances with street level characters than they can with
Right.
the top tier Avengers or Justice League characters.
What's street level mean?
Generally,
the
like
B
a
team.
vigilante, low
Yeah.
level power, if powered at all.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like
gritty.
Luke Cage, street level, Daredevil, Moon Knight.
The
Iron
original
Fist is technically
Spider-Man.
street level.
Yeah. The original Spider-Man. Yeah.
Oh, so Spider-Man was? I thought
Yeah.
he's got superpowers.
Well, he
has
was.
superpowers, but the thing
Yeah,
is, because of his age, he had to be street level.
Plus, in the big cosmic scope of MCU power levels, Spider-Man, while being superpowered, was always considered like, he's super strong, but he can only lift one car. He can't lift a dozen,
Oh, I see.
But but the point about him being young had a lot to do with it too. But I do think that was even Spider-Man kind of separated away from like the classic Frank Miller Daredevil stuff that was just so, God, he could rip your heart out with like sandpaper, it was just so raw.
What about like Batman? Would he be street level then?
Batman too,
No.
yeah.
I wouldn't say so. I think his superpower is like the power to prepare. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say he's street level though, because he's always been like, well, not always, but he's on the Justice League. He's one of the top dogs.
Oh,
And he's
okay.
gone
So
to-
street level means that they're not necessarily considered top tier, even if they're a really incredible character.
Well, yeah, and you know what else? I'm not even thinking about it, but Bruce Wayne is a billionaire, so that's not that you can't be a street level hero and be a billionaire, but you're kind of right. Like he's Justice League, he's billionaire. There's nothing really too street about him until he
Right,
beats
I
up a mugger or something. Then he's nasty.
But
So
yeah, but
Batman's
at the
not
same
in the
time,
street.
Danny Rand and even Mark Spector are millionaires or billionaires as well. But they just didn't catch on, so. Oh,
So
see,
I'll answer
Timothy.
for Skinny if nobody else wants to. Timotei asked, how competent are you in your story writing skills? I think you could find quite a bit of interesting drama in this. I don't know what this is, but I'm confident in Skinny's writing skills.
I'm confident. I mean, I do. There is a lot of drama in Otis Stein. I hope people like it. I'm confident, but I'm not arrogant. If somebody comes up to me and says, I really like this, but I think you can improve on that, I'm definitely going to take them seriously. There's always room for improvement, but I'm pretty confident that I got a really solid story that people are going to like.
Right. Writing is a funny thing because you can get caught up in your own stuff and not know if it's any good. But I'm sure you've had enough people over your shoulder to tell you if it stinks, because that's what Diana does to me if I'm writing something and I'm in my own world and she's like, yeah, nobody's gonna get that. That's horrible. I'll throw it out and start anew. But I still have a pile of stories that she's rejected that when I get bigger, I'm going to bring them out. Because by then you have a following,
Yeah.
and they want to read your weird stuff.
Oh man, Tim just he got me with the pocket sand, but I don't know. I wouldn't say my writing's better. I would just say that I do things differently than some people. Because I know some people were given who was it, Nasser? They were giving him crap because he really doesn't plot out his books. He just writes them as he goes. I kind of do that too. Like I try to let the story take a life of its own and see where it takes me. Because I will do like a basic, very, very basic outline. Like, this is what happens in the first act, second act, this happens, third act, that happens. It's like 3-4 sentences max. But then I start writing it, and then stuff changes. It just depends. Like I get in the character's head, and I'm like, okay, what I originally thought wouldn't actually work. It wouldn't make sense in what's going on right now.
Yeah, I you know what? I'm going through that. Like Last of the Reapers is the first time I tried to set up a script similar to a screenplay style. And what's in that script and some of the changes I've made, they happened because when I was drawing it, I was like, yeah, this doesn't flow right as a comic book. So I literally on the spot made those changes and then had to go back and, massage the script to fit the changes. Because I think the biggest thing in comics is not to waste time on a bunch of crap. So like I was going to have crap happen so I could basically move characters around to have an encounter. And when I got to drawing it, I'm like, nah, nobody's going to want to read this. I just need to, you know what I mean? Like I got into a position where I just squished like 2 or 3 scenes together into one because it works so much better. In comics, it does that too, where maybe in a movie, it might've worked to have the visual of someone doing something to show movement in time or whatever. But in a comic, it's much quicker. It's much leaner, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
One thing I'm definitely not doing is having somebody like espouse like this paragraph long dialogue balloon like in mid kick. That really annoys me. Like, haven't you noticed in some of these books they'll have like an entire like 30-minute long conversation and the time span it takes for them to punch one person?
Yeah. Where none of the dialogue could possibly fit in there. You're like, what?
It's like their power is for anti-gravity.
If you go back and look at the first book I did in 2019, it was so over dialogued like that, like you have a scene where like they're making minute rice and yet there's a 40-minute paragraph there, it doesn't make any sense. But thankfully, my wife got better at telling me no. And now I do it myself. I look at something I've written and I say, how can I say this even more simple without losing the character? Because sometimes characters have tendencies to say things, like you get a certain feel for a character. So they do say things with a little more wording. But I try to trim it all down now. And I don't know if that's right. I'm still learning how to write, really. It's a weird thing, the way that writers do it.
So I'm still kind of stressing out about all these stairs. I'm looking at them floating by, and it's like the $25 one looks like a really good deal.
That's probably the best deal in the whole thing.
Yeah,
honestly,
the metal cards, are they the size of a baseball card, or?
Yeah, they're like a baseball card. It's going to be 10 pieces of art. I always liked.
That's not too shabby. Wow,
it's going to be cool. And I'll definitely have a set, but I don't know, I can't promise that these are going to be collector's items or anything. All I can say is it's going to be limited because I'm not going to make them this is just when Preston, and I'm going to use his name again because the guy was the best coach in the world for me. When he got me going into this, he said, make sure you have tiers at different price levels. And basically you want something really cheap and something more expensive, top end expensive. And actually, he probably would have told me to go even with a more expensive tier. But this is just a quick, I want to do this one-shot book, and I don't want to make it a big, overblown production. I just want to get it out there and get it into people's hands. Whereas, people sometimes do these, and there's nothing wrong with this, but they do them just to make the bigger bucks and stuff, and they add on to their campaigns and stuff. This is about the book, it's not about the bling and all that. There'll be some bling, but yeah, I want it to be primarily the book is the big thing here. Now Christmas is coming after that. I don't know what we're doing for that. Diana's got her eyes open and she's all excited, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and it's really easy to shoot yourself in the foot and get bogged down by a lot of these extras too, because I know there have been times where Doug's like, Skinny, stop spending money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I want to do all these cool things, Doug. And it's not even necessarily to try to net more backers. It's just like the people who do back, I want to give them really cool stuff. But it comes to the point where you got to just sit down and say, enough is enough, okay? Um, oh, Tim's got a question. No, Otis does not have any nudity in it. It's a mature book, but that's for gore only. There is like some language. I think it's edited out, like where it's just at one point Otis says shit, but I think I got like the the pound symbol and the at and stuff like that, like they usually do. But no, there's really, besides the gore and what happens in the story itself, because there are some adult things that happen, not sex, but it's a mature book, but it's mature for the right reason.
I'm picturing a couple Frankenstein type monsters having sex.
Oh no, that already exists, Lorenzo. Thanks to what is his name, John Wayne Bobbitt Jr. He did that Frankenwiener.
Frankenpenis.
Yeah, Frankenpenis. Yeah, that's already been done. So
That does sound pretty horrific. No offense to him. I'm sure that's what he was going for and what he had to work with.
But there are adult themes, like, and when I hate it when like some of these cartoons or even comic books, they're like, oh, this is an adult comic book, and all they do is cuss a lot and they do drugs, and I'm like, that's not an adult book.
Right.
Like you gotta insert adult themes. Like I would say Rocko's Modern Life is somewhat of an adult cartoon.
Oh yeah,
a whole episode about how horrific it is to go to the DMV. Like that is
or the fact he works at an adult, like what is a phone sex type business.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he does all the time or just in one episode or what.
Yeah, and then there was that one episode too where he went grocery shopping when they had a sale because he was just dead broke. And as soon as like they were about to hit the checkout button, the sale ended and his prices skyrocketed and he lost his shit. He was yelling and screaming and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are real adult. That's what a real adult theme is. It's not just cussing and drug use.
Well, he did have a thing where he was getting his dog a dog bowl, and the person at the store said, "Time for the doggy bowl." Was a doggy style bull ride. Everybody on their hands and knees. It might not be an exact quote, but they did call it doggy style.
Pretty close, huh?
Yeah, it was just to get on your hands and knees or something.
But like in the beginning of Otis, him and his wife are really struggling with, bills and everything. Not to spoil anything in the story, but there's some things that happen that really put them into really deep debt. And that's one of the topics, because that's one thing I do know about too, is debt. I think we all know about that one.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Reaper story isn't more or less, it's not just about mythology or some mythos about death. There are honest plot lines in it, that the hope is the reader will be reading it and go, oh my goodness, I didn't realize. That's kind of what I'm looking for at a couple of points. Whether or not I pull it off, I don't know. I think I will, but I think the reader will enjoy it regardless of the ideas behind it. But it's like, will they catch on to this little hint here, and will it pick up and work there? That's the fun part about, I guess, putting yourself out there and seeing if your creativity is actually going to fly or not.
Definitely.
I don't want to say too much either, because I have like all these little surprises, and I'm like, yeah, you better not say something, because then you affect how the reader is seeing it.
I know exactly how you feel, man, because there's so many things that happen in this book that I want to be like, oh, it's got this and this and this in it. And I'm like, no, I can't, because then nobody's going to buy it, because I'll spoil the whole damn book.
And that's something I'm always in danger of. Diana hates it when I show off stuff online because she's like, you're going to give them the whole book before you can even get them to back it, you know? But I used to do that. That was my goal, was to put everything online. And then it was like online free. And then if you like it, you can buy a book. You know, I'll have a book published and you can do it that way. That's not the best way to make sales for printed books. But I figure if you're a fan enough, and you read it online, you're going to want it, you know, in your collection.
Well, what I did was I put a cutoff, and I think my cutoff is page 11. I'm not showing off anything after page 11. That's it. Because that's when the story really kicks into high gear. So everything after that is going to be a complete mystery to people. But now everything before that, not a ton happens, but, you know, Otis does get blown up and Mary sews them back together and stuff. That will be shown off. But I find that's a good strategy to use. It's just look at your book and be like, okay, this is basically the first act. That's what I can show off. But save 2 and 3.
Right. It's all a new thing to me too. So it's like learning where to cut it off. You know, it's
and don't give your book away online until after you've funded and fulfilled your book too. So that way you can get the people who really wanted it, and then you can just throw it out into the ether, and that's when you can really get the people who read it and they're like, I really want a copy of this. Now, have you thought about, because I know John Del Rose does this, but he does the print on demand through Amazon. Have you thought about that?
That's actually how I do all my printing now.
Okay.
The way I afford my campaigns is I have them a very tight budget. You know, like Diana set it up so that we know how much each book will cost us. Then we know how much bling we can buy to put into the packages, because the idea for us isn't just the book. It's like, if you get a package from us, we want you to know that you got a package from us. You know, like our first Kickstarter, I actually did handwritten letters, which actually started getting to be really painful. Like my hands started cramping, but I would look at who I was writing to, and if I recognized them, I would say something like, yo, bro, it's good to see you. I know you from Twitter. You know me. Good to, thank you for the backing. If I didn't know him, I'd tell him something about what was going on. Like one guy, I remember telling him, you're the second last letter in the bunch. And boy, do I have a hand cramp, and it's just when we do a campaign, we always want to have a special touch so that they go, okay, Hero Shack sent us a package, it's just the way my wife has always been with us. Like when, and this is going to sound a little weird, but when we were doing like street ministry, we would buy like food to give out to people. And I was one of those guys who was like, well, let's get the generic brand of market, of mac and cheese. Cause people are hungry, don't care. And she'd be the one going, nope, it's got to be Kraft. It's got to be, this. So she's always kept us on the higher quality line. Like when it came to mailing, I told her our options and she instantly went to Gemini. She wasn't interested in a flat folded cardboard thing from the mail, from the post office or anything else. She was like, nope, it's got to be the best. If Gemini is the best, that's what we're getting. And they're
actually relatively cheap too. I mean, I think when I priced them out and buying like 100 of them, they come out to about 47 cents a pop.
Yeah, it's totally worth it too, because I think everybody here has probably opened one, but it's so cool to open that and it unfolds and you're like, wow, this is a comic book box, it's and we stuffed our packages, like, because we had a lot of inventory because we were getting ready to go into the 2020 convention season. So we had stocked up on all of 2019's books, and we had the new 2020 book, the first issue of Hero Shack in Search of Heroes. And we had tons of copies because, you go into the conventions, that's where you just wheel and deal and push your books out. So, yeah, we put a lot of that stuff in the backer packages. And this time around, I know she's got more planned than what we've advertised, but that's the fun of it. What kind of gimmick will be dreamt up for this campaign. And in a sense, if you keep it secret in between yourself and your backers, it's something cool. It's like an inside perk where you don't necessarily advertise it. Like I guess we just did, but we only have 3 viewers, so it's not like I just let out a big secret. Right now, it's very slow. I guess we could probably call it quits, but I don't know who the 3 are. What if it's somebody big? What if Jim
I
Lee's
think
looking to save DC?
to answer another question here. When he asked, do Otis and Mary do it? And now the most you'll get out of that is at one point, there's one panel where Otis kisses Mary on the cheek because she calls him in for dinner. That's it.
Well, that's a very logical question for a rabbit to ask.
Yeah. Well, I have a nice little mystery in mind where there is sex involved, but it's not really that way. So each Reaper or each Guardian who becomes a Reaper at the end of a life has one person they're assigned to, and 5 Guardians showed up to help 4 humans. 2 are female, and 1 has got to be pregnant. But the question is, which one? The 40-something-year-old woman or the 14-year-old freshman from high school? And that's going to be a question about that plays out at the end. But that's one of the, I guess I just let a little bit of one of the plot lines go. But they're going to try to figure that out. And of course, Giannis, the last Reaper, figures it out really easily because he's been around for thousands of years. But yeah, that'll be interesting. And the
Will it be like the Jerry Springer where there's a fraternity test or what am I thinking of?
Jerry Springer did it, and so did the other guy, not Montel, the white guy. Oh, what's his name? Oh, yes. I know.
I'm blanking out on his name. He was like, wasn't he married to Connie Chung?
Yep. And every show he did after he discovered it was popular was, we find out, are you the father?
Yeah, he really almost became, he became someone I definitely didn't respect after a while because it just seemed. But
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name, but yeah.
But I've kind of felt that way with Maury Povich. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
A lot of those shows were getting kind of sensational, but that's how Donahue was. Now that I look back at it, I used to think Donahue hosted a great show, and looking back at it, it's like, wow, it was a lot.
Do you remember Geraldo? And I think I want to say it was Skinheads. He had a fight on set with them or something.
Yeah, and he broke his nose.
Yes, that was it.
That was so wild.
Oh, the
time he went and explored Al Capone's vault, and all he found was like a bottle of Coca-Cola or something. That was awesome.
The thing
what was so great about it is you didn't know what you'd say, and
yep.
I mean, it was cool to see those tunnels and stuff.
Your memory on it is a little better than mine, but I do remember the whole build up to it,
Yeah, it was like it was such a big build up. It's like kind of like Rachel Maddow doing Trump's tax returns or whatever. But it's just like, I expected a little more.
Yeah, I thought there'd be more to this. What's going on?
Yeah, they did a satire on that show In Living Color. Did you ever see that? It was.
I've seen it in Living Color.
Yeah, they did one where do you remember there like Webster and there was a show Webster and Gary and then there was that one with Different Strokes with like miniature.
Yeah, there was Webster,
like,
Gary Coleman.
I don't know if they were technically dwarfs or what. I think they would be considered. But yeah, they did one on In Living Color. They did a skit where Geraldo goes and he finds that there's a Coke bottle. And there were these little black people who were being grown in Coke bottles.
Really?
Really surreal. Yeah.
You know what, Tim? I like that.
Great show.
I just want to let Tim know I love that idea, My seamstress has gone on strike, so I may have to hire somebody. We did a cyclopean pillow plush doll thingy, and she was terrified to do it. Fortunately, we only sold one of them, but she got into it. And then when she was doing it, she didn't feel like her product was up to snuff. She had made half a dozen of them for me, you know, the little cyclopean dolls, but this was a bigger one, and she didn't feel comfortable with it. So I know she wouldn't do a Reaper body pillow, but I bet you there's something out there we could find. The book hopefully will do well enough to justify some sort of. I would love to explore the characters of the Guardians that turn into Reapers. There's a lot of story potential there, but this particular story is the end of the world. So the universe that I'm putting to death in the book could be explored. Like the story itself happens in 2040. So it's like in our future. So I could always, start a whole new series around, and any number of the Guardians, and have a lot of fun with it. But
yeah, can't you do a thing like those religious groups that keep saying it's the end of the world, and that turns out they're something just kind of happened in heaven, and it didn't turn out to be the end of the world?
well, it's really weird because generally what I do is I tell the story of what happens when God finally says, "Okay, it's done," right? But I tell it from a very weird perspective of you don't get to see most of the destruction. You don't get to see mankind disappear. What you get to see is the final remnants of mankind wandering the earth. The last reaper is the one that belongs to Jesus, but he wants to get off earth. He's been here for thousands of years. So he's trying to find ways to kill the survivors, but he's also the general babysitter for the Guardians, who do not always stay with their human companions. They get called to them when there's an emergency. Otherwise, they tend to hang out in little flocks. They're like kind of like birds of a feather that hang together. There's a lot of weird things about the Guardians that are unrevealed at this point by me. It's in the book, but that I can't really tell you yet. But they're characters of extreme weirdness. Like one of the things about them is they have a very bad memory. If they witness something, they generally forget it within a minute or two. And the reason they were made that way is because a guardian angel could become resentful towards the person that the angel is supposed to protect if he doesn't necessarily like what the person does. But that's not the job of the guardian angel. The job of the guardian angel isn't to judge, it's to guard their human. So they have short memories. They literally have short memories. And they have to do a lot of things over and over and over to get stuff stuck in their memory, which is a very human trait for a lot of us. And it's kind of fun because in many ways, part of the book is about trying to herd kittens, because these characters don't necessarily listen to Giannis, who again is like their caretaker. They do what they want. They forget what they were told to do. Ultimately, he does something pretty wicked to try to steer things towards the end. But in the very end, when Jesus actually makes an appearance in the book, just like all things in life, we'll find that the will of God is mysterious, and it's all tied together into a very, what I consider to be a very cool ending. Although it's rather, you'll see, it's got a Halloween element there. There's some horror stuff there that I can't say too much about.
So you can have a third coming of Christ, once you have.
Oh no, I didn't do that at all. But you could. By this Christ appearance, what's going to be happening is he's actually going to intervene at the very end and explain why certain things happened the way it did.
Was that a spoiler alert?
Yes, in a way, but like we have so few viewers that I'm not worried about it at this point.
I guess that's kind of like already in the Bible that.
And keep in mind, like I'm not gonna, I won't blaspheme the Lord. I am a believer, for those who don't know, but I have taken some liberties. Basically, it's my imagination of how the world could come to an end, and it's completely fictional. I don't claim that it was patterned after Revelation or anything like that, but it's a fun Halloween book that goes really deep into a lot of ideas that hopefully will scare the crap out of people in some way, like just give you that haunting feeling once you realize what's happening in the story, is my goal. That, I don't want to write something where like I'm not looking to do The Exorcist or The Omen, but I am looking to do something kind of creepy that will linger,
So is this kind of a little bit for older readers?
Absolutely. It's at least, I like to say it's somewhere between PG-13 and R. The gore would definitely make it R. And there is some colorful language. What I've avoided doing is the F-bomb. But Mindy, part of her character trait is basically she's a Karen. And because she's a Karen, she often will pop off a one-liner that's kind of colorful. And it's kind of played against Lois, who's 14 years old, and she's very respectful of her father. So Mindy is a mouthy older white woman, and the daughter is actually more mature than this woman that's in the group. The group is just a ragtag. They're like the last humans, at least in North America. And the reason the werebear is kind of following them around, which is another spoiler, is because he's tracked them down as the last humans in America. He can smell human life, and this is it. This is what he's found remaining, at least on this side of the ocean. The reader is not aware of what's happening in Europe or what has happened. It's in that sense, there's some mystery. But if you know what's happening on the Reaper side, you'll understand that Europe is a done deal.
So the Black Death has returned to Europe.
Well, yeah, so we're looking at the last of the Reapers. So there really are no other people on the planet except for these people. There is a twist that I can't tell you about, but one of the Guardians' name is named Amy. Okay. And Amy has been around for a significant number of years, even though she can't remember. And there's a reason for this, because Giannis is aware of it. He's waiting on her person to die because he can't figure out where her person is because she never gets called to her person. And there's a big secret behind that. And God, if I told you, that would kill one of the hooks. So if you really want to know, maybe I can private text it to you, but I can't put this one in a video. But it's so huge that
please don't give away too many spoilers.
Yeah, it's so huge that to the story that it's going to be like a completely unexpected angle like that. Whenever I do anything, I tend to have weird twists and turns. Like Diana's always pointed that out. It's one of those where I know people are going to go, "Wow, I didn't see that coming." And I've talked to you guys before about having multiple endings to the story. It's because there are so many ways I could take it, but I've settled on one. But this one is really cool because it makes Amy a very important person in the story that no one's aware of until her glory is announced.
This is why I say save just focus on one ending and save the alternate endings for other characters that the Guardians are watching. That's the thing.
Or even just save them for next year. Like if this is a successful crowdfunder, next year I can bring it back and have here are the 5 possible endings that we did not put into the first edition. I just know that this story excites me because there's so many ways I could have taken it. But I'll leave those in the original. And like I said, if it's successful, and it very well could be. I'm only asking for $667. Slowly, I'll keep adding to that number, but I don't want to I don't want to come out and hey, let's make 10 grand before we launch this, and then fall way short. We're taking baby steps before we go for the big lunge. Because honestly, I don't think we could raise 10 grand at this point. We need more publicity, more time, more quality. But it will get there, especially since kind of like you guys, I just don't quit. You know, we just keep going and going, and we learn from the experiences.
Yeah, just promote the heck out of it. I see Otis Steins made over. It's raised over $1,300.
Well, just hanging around, Skinny, I've learned.
Back the days left. I mean,
Did you notice he changed his Twitter name to say Otis Stein is live and all that?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
When
I had no idea, but because of him, I started doing it with mine.
Yeah.
Last of the Reapers.
that's typically pretty helpful.
Yeah, it's fantastic because I don't know if Skinny's still with us, but just
I
seeing
am.
that seeing that in every post, like it comes up everywhere after that. It's
Yeah, it's
such a
involved.
reminder. It's so cool.
And it's something you can do that like free in like a split second. It's yeah, that's something I've noticed for a long time as certain creators would do that. And
Well, I've started doing it.
it's pretty easy. It's so easy with Twitter to change one's name.
Yep.
Change their name every day, or several times a day if they wanted, I think.
I'm sure you could. Yeah.
Unless Twitter eventually thinks somebody's like abusing the feature, but you know, maybe if they did 1,000 times or something.
But I mean, like, check it out. So, like, the whole deal, like, so, like, oh boy, somebody's getting tired. Never mind. I lost my point.
Were you talking about like something about Twitter and changing people's names? Or?
Yes. So whatever it takes to publicize in that sense, where it's free and it's widespread, it's a good idea. And I never even realized it till I saw what Skinny did, that you could do that. But there's a lot of things, you know, just the ability to stream, the live streams. We're going to put this up, like there's only been a few views on it tonight, but as it sits there, it collects views and goes into the hundreds. And then if you're fortunate, you'll get into the thousands. I'm still trying to revive my old YouTube channel. I have like, you know, 2,000 subs, but half of them are dead. And half of the ones that are not dead are just like not watching very much. But they were.
Let's hope they're not literally dead.
No, I just mean their channels are dead. Like there's no activity. Yeah, God.
Abandoned accounts.
Yeah, or if not abandoned, they just abandoned me and just never, you know, unsubbed me. I have people like that too on my old YouTube, because I used to, God, I don't even know how many years ago it was, but we were YouTube bound for years and years, Diana and I. And now we're doing it again, but that channel, like I said, you know, most of those subs are just non-responsive. I don't do the God stuff like I used to. We used to get into theological arguments and all that stuff, and it's so much time trying to debate those things and research the arguments so you get the right, you know, this manuscript says, and this one says, you know. I finally just got to a point where I just love people, so I don't want to do those videos anymore. And then I quit doing them for a while, and now with this stuff, comics don't really fit the whole theological debate crowd, but yet they haven't unsubbed me, so I'm like, all right, well, I'll let them sit there. And
Oh, by the way, Chris,
yeah, bro,
you got non-backers now, and you're at 151.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. I actually have the screen up. Thank you guys, but I do want to show that. Let's see. That's funny that you were looking at it too. I was just checking it. I'm like, wow, you know. And I know you know this feeling, but it's always mind blowing as you watch that number go up. I must say though, like it does show the progress of number one of our growth as Hero Shack. But when I look at like Otis Smith, bro, you're doing a great job of promoting it. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you did to get your name out there. And I think part of it is you guys' history, which I don't really know the history of your comic book stuff, but you have established yourselves. And that's my goal, is to someday get the same amount of almost of cred, so that
Well,
your fans know, okay, here's your book, and they'll dive right in.
I mean, I've been a turd for a while. I was very critical of CG or the big people within CG for a while there. But I think the one thing that attracts people is just I'm consistent, man. I'm real with people. I don't do this. I put on a fake face shit for the YouTubes or anything like that. But most of my success just comes from the friends I've made along the way, man. Like I've been trying to help share projects for other people for like the past 4 years now, and just promoting the hell out of other people. And I think just it's just the friends I've made along the way. I can't even take credit for how well it's doing. That's actually that's all the people who are supporting it. All the really cool people out there sharing the link like crazy.
Yep.
Because nobody can do this by themselves. Anybody who says they can is full of shit. It's always going to be a team effort. It's not just what you're doing, but what the people who are watching you are doing too. Everything matters.
Well,
I don't know
and
if that helps at all.
I think I heard you quote the thing about rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, that's the motto I live by.
Yeah, it's how I've done it for a long, long time. I did it with I was in semi-pro wrestling for a time, and that was where I really learned it, because in wrestling, they don't really think of it as good guy, bad guy most of the time, unless it's gone kayfabe, like really, unless there's a shoot. So you want to promote the promotion and everybody in it. So if there's a bad guy, you play that bad guy as bad as you can while he's out in front of the crowd. But everybody's all friends, and that's kind of the same thing that worked in music, and it works in comics. You don't play people off like in fake lines, but you lift everybody. So it's like the more people you can raise, in theory, you should go up too, and it does work, man. I mean, I don't know if that's part of Otis's success.
I was talking to Nasser about that earlier, because I was streaming with him, and I was just completely open. I was like, honestly, it does kind of sound selfish, but I don't want the people around me to fail either, because then that makes me look bad. That makes my job harder. If you goof off on your book because you don't know what the hell you're doing, people aren't going to like that. And like with Red Rooster, you look through the comments, there's hundreds of people who were like, I'm never backing another crowdfund again.
And you know what's sad? You're talking about an extreme issue at Red Rooster, but there are smaller books that have suffered not quite as badly, but they're just as late. And it makes, you were saying it on another show I saw you on, but it does hurt the whole industry when that happens too many times, and it has happened too many times.
Yeah. And that's why, like, if I see anybody just starting up a book, there's this one guy on Twitter, his name escapes me, so I doubt he's watching anyways. But I guess he saw how well my campaign was doing, and he invited me to subscribe to his mailing list for his upcoming book. And immediately I was like, well, hey, if you need help with anything, let me know. Like, I won't do everything for you, but there's no such thing as a stupid question, just stupid people who don't ask them. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. And I was even talking to him because he's in the UK, and I was like, well, you might want to look into finding printing in the US and having some kind of fulfillment in the US, whether it's a friend or a company that you hire to do it, if your campaign does well enough, because your primary market is going to be in the US. That's where most of the comic buyers are. I mean, you've got a handful of people like in Australia and Finland and stuff like that, but at least 75 to 80% of your market's going to be stateside, and you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and make them pay for shipping from the UK.
Yep. Well, it's funny because my first experience has been, while I never appreciated PDF sales, those are padding for the Gemini mailers. They're padding for the perks. They're padding for the postage. You know what I mean? Like, PDF sales.
Yeah, because
It turned out to be one of the
they
most
don't cost
important parts of it. Yeah, exactly.
The only thing a PDF costs you is the time it takes to send it to somebody. That's it. Because your
Amen.
book's
Yep.
already done. So is mine.
Now, I would like to discover a way to make a more cinematic experience, as they put it, but I don't have the time to research it. But somewhere where you could like have music and a page flip, and I don't know. Animation is a little bit too much to ask for a regular book, but it would still be nicer to read.
Well, have you ever thought about like they do those motion comics, and some of them don't move at all? It just the camera pans around the page, and you have a couple of voice actors just read the lines and have some atmospheric music behind it.
So, do you know how they make those, or is it just one of those things where the publishers are coming out with them? Because if I can find an app that makes them, I've always wanted to try doing that. But
Well,
yeah.
It's basically what you're doing with like your promo video. You use the same software. All you do is you just, you could even
slow down
clip your
the
art
transitions and stuff. Yeah.
and just have the camera or the focus point move from like, your top left panel over to the right one and so on and so forth.
Right.
I don't know how to do any of this. This is all out of my expertise, but if I knew what I was, but I could easily say that it's probably a lot more easy to do if you know what you're doing than other things like animation or anything like that.
Right. No,
because
actually,
all you're doing is
is anybody else in here a Mac user? Okay, because I use a Mac.
I've got a really old, like 2012 Mac or something.
My wife, God bless her, through the power of Donald Trump's stimulus package, got me a new iMac this year. And so it comes with iMovie, which is really good for those kind of pans. Like I could easily set up a motion comic if I just stop and think about it. You're right. I didn't even think about that. But you slow down those transitions a little bit, and you have 4 actors read the lines, and boom, you've got yourself a motion comic.
Yeah, like I said,
cool.
there may be more work to it than I'm thinking, but just, outside looking in, I see a lot of people doing like promos like you're doing yours. Yours looks really good. I can't imagine it'd be much more difficult than what you've already done.
You're right. I could do voiceovers and stuff pretty easy. And I need to do one because I was told last campaign by a couple of, I guess you call them Kickstarter critics, but they were like, yeah, your video's fine, but it doesn't tell me what's going on in the book. So I have thought about doing like some sort of, dramatic voiceover, explanation of the book. Something short, sweet, but enough to make it enticing. But I haven't done it yet. And I don't know if I'll get to it because I'm just.
That's actually what's quite ironically sold me on Red Rooster. With Edwin had this really cool voiceover that was kind of inspired by the Thundercats.
Really?
It's so cool. I mean, and I also thought the artwork looked kind of cool. But yeah.
Hey, what was that Hut was reporting that he's not going to do a book after Red Rooster, according to his wife?
Yeah, I mean, again, the drama, but yeah, that's what he had said. That's what apparently Elizabeth had written that in to one of the backers. I think who asked for a refund.
Wow. I don't want to be hateful, but I'm glad this dude has single-handedly pissed off thousands of backers, and there's hundreds of them who've openly said they'll never fund another book. They'll never back another book again.
Well,
so,
that's why I didn't back crowdfunder before Comicsgate is because I always thought it was just some sort of scam because there'd be like these arcade consoles, like this new Atari thing that they've been working on for years, and it seems like who knows what's actually going to end up being. And so I just thought it was like,
Yeah, there have been.
it really seemed very
Yeah,
suspicious because why would a company need all this money from people, from these backers? Why wouldn't the company just make things, but with their own money, or am I getting stock in the company or whatever? But it makes sense with an individual who needs to raise some money to print their books and stuff. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, like I don't have the capital to print the books that I need. If I did, I wouldn't be crowdfunding. I just put them up on Etsy.
Right.
But I gotta pay my artist his cut, and I need to print books. So that's why I like crowdfunding. That's why I'm kind of on the fence about these big companies getting into crowdfunding, because I understand both sides of the argument, but it seems bothersome to me that you have companies that have the resources to actually get all this stuff accomplished without crowdfunding, yet they're jumping on crowdfunding. That rubs me a bit the wrong way.
Yeah, they probably could afford to even pay somebody American wages, for drawing artwork or whatever.
It reminds me of a guy who has a decent job who still just he goes to the soup kitchen, and you're like, well, this is intended to help people who are on hard times and can't really afford a meal. It's not for you to just get a free meal, and that's where I am. My standing on it is it's just a little unethical, I would say.
And that wasn't a slam on anyone. And I know you've got a foreign artist, but I'm saying that these companies can actually afford to hire artists for American artists for the outrageous fees that a lot of them ask for.
Yeah, and it just
what's harsh with that though? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't want to poop on anybody. It's just the morality thing is what really throws me off. Is why are you on crowdfunding when you don't need to? You have you have resources I wish I had. I just don't get it.
Well, to touch base on, I just wanted to touch base on the out of country or the foreign artists and stuff.
Oh yeah, and I didn't mean to slam on American artists either, because the cost of living is expensive here.
No, but I just wanted to say, and this will sound harsh in a way, and I don't mean it that way, but the bottom line is, if they're going to draw something better than we're offering as American artists, then shame on us. We need to catch up. Some of the art I've seen coming out of Brazil, and some of the art I've seen coming out of places in Europe is phenomenal. And I'm like, okay, what happened to our comic artists? Because we used to lead the way. We had the legends, and lately, it's almost like we've gotten too digital in the mainstream comics. There's too much. I see it as just an over digitized world. Like these people don't remember what it was like to open up a newsprint comic, because they never had comics that were made in newsprint. We grew up with that. And they didn't buy Alterna. and it's like, we have a different perspective on it than they do. And it shows in the artwork, it shows in the production, it shows in even the color scheme sometimes, especially with superhero books,
Well, I think the prices have a lot to do with it too, because like those guys in Brazil, they don't need a whole lot of money to survive, because our dollars are so much over there. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to, pay somebody, 8 times more to do the same job that somebody else could do. I just the
thing is,
I've
got 8 times more.
But being involved in comics is a lot like my time being involved in bands, where a lot of guys they'd be like, yeah, let's start a band. That sounds cool. Then they'd show up to practice, and all they want to do is get drunk and just goof off the entire time. And then when you start taking gigs that don't pay, they're like, why are we doing this? We need to get paid. We need to make money. And you're like, no, dude, you work up to that. And I had a lot of difficulties with that as a musician early on in my life. It's because I kept running into these guys who they didn't understand that you have to invest your own time and energy into something before you can expect anybody else to invest in you, because you're going to be taking a lot of unpaying gigs, and some gigs that do pay, it's only going to cover the gas to get there and back. You have to make that sacrifice for the art.
Well, I see Tim's commenting on this too. He seems to.
Here's the honest truth. Every single foreign artist I've hired has been better, cheaper, and faster than 99% of the American artists I've hired. This includes Europeans, Asians, South Americans. Yeah, that's been what I've heard from professional people who hire artists. You know what I mean? In fact,
Like
one of my indie buddies who is an artist himself has gone so far as to hire a Brazilian artist. I think it's Brazilian or Portuguese, and the results have been phenomenal for his book. It's going to open his market up because the art is dramatically different in style, but it still fits his universe, you know. And I guess there's no secret. I'm talking about Pyramid Nights, but the new book that he's got coming out is going to literally change his whole market. It's going to be, it could really be a game changer for him because it's that good. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, and
he's paying tons of money for artists and colorists. But it's good.
Wait,
I didn't know if he was still
and
here.
Like Carlos, who's the artist on Otis Stein, you know, he's in Mexico and he's never once missed a deadline. In fact, he usually sends me all the pages early. I just don't get the high res ones until I pay him for it. But that dude has been off the ball like no other, where I've worked with other artists that have been in America, and most of them just, they were extremely late. They dicked around a lot, or some of them were pitching a fit because, you know, I think even Nasser, he had this problem with that Peter Gilmore, which honestly, I don't want to poop on anybody, but that guy's art is not worth 12 G's up front. But yeah, like this guy just wanted Nasser to pay him like 12 grand up front. And it was like, really? Like, man, y'all got to simmer down a little bit. Like, I know it's a lot of work, but, you know, come on now. You're putting yourselves out of a job.
I think anybody who wants to get into comics needs to sit down and like do some research. I think like there was a documentary on Jack Kirby I've watched a few times, and I think people should like sit down and watch something like that and watch the interviews with the masters and see if your heart is tied into that. You know, it like one of the things about like Kirby that I respected so much is the work ethic. Just to sit down and draw for like, you know, 12, 18, 24 hours. I could relate to that. So, you know, like I was like, okay, if he did it, I know that it's doable and I might one day be able to do it. Whereas I think there are other people who are just like, I need a quick buck. I'm not making it in graphics or in advertising. So why not try this? I can draw cartoons, and they can draw. But like they're not dynamic because the love's not in there for it. They're not as thoughtful to the characters because they never cared about the characters, or they knew the characters from cartoons or video games. You know, it's a completely different world for some of these people, and I think they should see what the legends did and see if they feel that compatibility or not. Because if not, you're probably not doing the right field, because you really can't be in comics to get rich, because anybody who gets rich in comics got lucky. So it's got to be for love.
Especially indie comics, because I know Tim will probably, you know, say this too, but Tim's got a day job. He's not living off of his books, despite how well his campaigns do. Indie comics is a hobby. you got to go into it with that mindset. You're not going to, make millions off of this. It's just, but it's a fun hobby. And that's why I love indie comics so much, is because you have a lot of people going into it for the love of the craft, not the love of the money. So you actually end up with some really well crafted stuff that it just knocks it out of the park, especially when you compare it to what's coming out of the big two lately, which, oh my God. Did you hear about the Immortals or whatever, that they're adding like a Bollywood style dance number? And you got old Jack Kirby just rolling in his grave right now. Like, what the hell are you people doing?
Are you talking about the MCU?
Yeah.
Marvel? Oh, shoot. That's going to be crazy.
Also, I'm looking at what Gary said. Yeah, Poland, that's, Central Europe. All right, it's right next to Germany.
Yeah.
That would be,
all I can say to that is when I was doing web design, I used to hire coders out of Poland, and they would charge like ridiculously low rates. In America, it would cost me $60 an hour for someone to simply do some Java code, but this guy from Poland was like $8 an hour.
Well, that's where the CD Project Red that's doing the what's that? I almost said Cyberfrog. Hits Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk. What's the number?
The video game there?
2077?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, and they also did The Witcher and everything. They were out of Poland.
Anyways,
Poland
folks, I do have. I got work super early in the morning, so I got to hop off of here and get to bed.
You know what? I kind of do too. I do have to work, but I have to jump off too because it's like 10:30.
Yeah.
My wife is around here somewhere.
But,
oh yeah,
y'all get back at Chris. You should see a really special update I put out on my book today. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit, man.
Okay, bro.
Well, all right. Have a good night, folks. Later, Lorenzo.
All right, man. So Terry and Lorenzo, brother, and Skinny, I'm gonna go to bed too.
Yeah, I gotta log off my. I'm having problems with my eyes lately because of eye strain. I'm staring at a screen all weekend too.
Yeah, you were saying something about that. Hey, did I Kind of Believe ever happen?
I kind of believe it didn't.
I kind of believe so too. I forgot to ask him.
It's like it seemed like
it was preempted by other stuff.
Yeah, it seemed like a bunch of other things were happening.
That's all right. Next week is coming. Yeah,
it's kind of a. I don't know. It's a show that requires a lot of research, and especially Mecca. Mecca does a lot of research for it. I have a hard time because I'm having a hard time finding accurate stuff. I'm trying to find some info on the Sumerian gods.
Yep.
Or the the god like Babylonian, Sumerian, and those, and what they believed. But then I'm getting a lot of like conspiracy theory videos that are like lumping them in with gods of other religions. That who knows, there could be some sort of relation, but I don't know whether these channels are accurate, and so I'm not.
Oh, that's always.
It's like I'd rather find something like from a university or something.
Something you trust.
Yeah, because these are like. Because these are really old stories, and some people say these gods were UFOs,
right?
Maybe they were kind of like maybe the forces of nature, or like one of them was like the sun, the sun god or whatever, Well, that was probably just watching the sun go through the sky and then telling stories about it. But some of these stories are really interesting, and I'd like to. If I can get into the show, I'd like to talk about it sometime. But it's really hard trying to remember, how am I going to sum up a mythology of a religion that's really complex? how am I going to get that information and then sum it up? They can't play like an hour-long video.
Right.
That would violate copyright law and be too overwhelming. Nobody else would be able to present anything. So I'm just trying to figure out what to do. But Mecca's constantly doing like he does a lot of research and.
Hey, I'm starting to pass out.
Yeah, I'm rambling. So have a nice night.
God bless you, brother. I'll talk to you guys later,
God
man,
bless
for
you
sure.
too.
Okay.
All right, man.